Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have bad news with Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks carted off of practice today. So looks like not only are these drafts going to be updating for, Saquon Barkley actually signing his contract, Josh Jacobs not signing his, Taylor practicing in the air. You have Zeke going over to New England. We have Dalvin going to the Jets. Now we have Burks. We got so much to talk about. Let's go ahead and let's get into a fantasy football draft, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are going to get in a ton of these $5 Puppy 3 tournament drafts in this live stream. Now, that's going to be the majority of what we do here. But we are also going to get in a $500 draft on Underdog. Now, if you're new to Underdog, please stick to the Puppy 3. This is going to be the tournament for you. It's a $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, $200,000 first place prize. Definitely the best place for you to practice for your main fantasy football league this next year. Now, I'm a little bit of a sicko. We are going to go ahead and we are going to enter in the Bulldog 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I won the Bulldog 2 last year. I have won a couple tournaments on Underdog. The Bulldog 2 being one of them is a $500 buy-in. Last year, it was $20,000 of 2 first place that we won. This year, it's going to be a little bit bigger where it's $100,000 for first place. So hopefully we are able to go ahead. Hopefully we are able to take this down. 100,000 for first, 50,000 for second. We just entered. There are 7 spots open, ladies and gentlemen. So as we wait for that to fill, we are going to go ahead and we are going to enter in some of these Puppy 3 tournaments. But let's get in here. Let's go up against you sickos. And please let me know if you make it into this draft with us. Now we're at pick 1. We have not had pick 1 in a very long time. If y'all remember, I believe we had pick 1 for like 2 weeks straight. It was something ridiculous. But now, it's a little bit of a new spot to be in with the news that we have regarding Ramondre Stevenson no longer being viable at the 2-3 turn. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins is a little more exciting at the 4-5 turn. So let's go ahead and let's get this going. Okay, and we have Brian coming out telling us to go Bijan Robinson 101. I wish I could. I wish I could, but we will draft Bijan Robinson in a lot of the other drafts today. I don't necessarily know if we can go with him here at 1. And it's Ronix says Hopkins to the moon. Let's see how early DeAndre Hopkins goes in these drafts. But we are going to go ahead and we are going to take Justin Jefferson here at pick 1. Don't think we have to think about this one too much. If you are going to be looking at Justin Jefferson, he has the ceiling to possibly put up 2,000 receiving yards this year. He has the floor to be a top 5 wide receiver. It's kind of a no-brainer. Now, Kyle coming out says, a full PPR, start 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs. We need to keep her. Are we going to keep Tyreek in the 2nd, A.J. Brown in the 3rd, or Jalen Hurts in the 5th? I think I would personally go Tyreek Hill in the 2nd. If you're playing in a keeper format, obviously that 2nd round pick is going to be a little bit diluted depending on the amount of keepers that you are keeping. If you're going to be looking at this format in particular, I am going to be sliding down quarterback ever so slightly. Now, of course, if you only keep 1 player in this league, then maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe the keeper cost matters a little bit more. But more times than not, I'm just going to go ahead and take Tyreek Hill here, my friend. Could also matter if you're going to be picking at like the beginning of round 1. So Tyreek Hill would cost a late 2nd round pick. Then we're definitely going to go in that direction. If you're going to be picking at the end of round 1, where Tyreek Hill would cost a early 2nd round pick, then maybe we go A.J. Brown with the late 3rd. It's going to depend on a couple different things. But after we take Jefferson, you'll see Bijan Robinson off the board at pick 4 in this draft. So, they are going to go ahead and they are going to have him moving up dramatically. And of course, just real quick, just in case you don't know, we are drafting every single day on this live stream. These are Underdog drafts. They're best ball tournaments, no time commitment at all during the season. It's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And of course, if you want to draft with us on Underdog, I'm doing this every single night until 2024. You can find the link in the live chat description comment section. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you a 100% deposit match. It's going to get you also our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. This is the same site where you see all the player props on the videos. My favorite player props right now are going to be Jordan Love for fewer than 13.5 interceptions. And my other favorite pick'em line is going to be DeAndre Swift for more rushing yards than Damian Harris. And I also work my butt off to get y'all 3 free pick'em lines for everybody who's used promo code FLOCK so far before the season starts. The first one will be Josh Allen for more than less than half a passing yard week 1. But Ethan coming out says, Sup Mason, 20-team league. We got the 16th pick. What are we going to be looking to do in rounds 1 and 2? If it's going to be a 20-team format, it's going to be very dependent on where your league mates are going to go quarterback. Obviously, if your league mates decide to push quarterbacks up until round 1 and 2, then at that point, you may not have an option. You may have to take a quarterback there with one of those picks. But I will be moving running backs up, just looking at the fall off of the running back position in comparison to the fall off at wide receiver. I would definitely make sure that we can get a couple running backs. And I would honestly most likely be punting tight end as well in that kind of format. But looking at this, Davante Adams makes it all the way down to 17 in this draft. Jordan telling us getting the number 1 pick and not taking Bijan Robinson is fraudulent. Well, hopefully in the $500 draft that we are doing later on in this live stream, my friend, we will get a middle round 1 pick where we are able to take Bijan Robinson. Hopefully we can make that work, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now let's move this over. Derrick Henry off the board at pick 20. We have to be making an adjustment on how we are drafting these running backs at the 2-3 turn. Just knowing how the player pool's changed here with those signings. Okay. Now, Devonta Smith off the board 22. So we are going to be getting an elite level quarterback. Really just comes down to what quarterback are we looking at. Now, this team took Jamar Chase, so they go Calvin Ridley. I'm actually just going to take Patrick Mahomes and T. Higgins here. I mean, with T. Higgins, it's going to give us some flexibility to have 2 wide receivers through the first 2 rounds. And at the same time, I really like the range of outcomes. Back-to-back seasons as the wide receiver 12 from a points per game perspective. You just really got to hope that he's healthy for the entire season. But Edward coming out says in a 10-team PPR format, I have DJ, Barkley, Etienne, AJ Brown, Olave, Hawkinson, Keenan Allen. And then on the bench, we have Pacheco, Hunt, Michael Pittman Jr., JSN, Sky Moore, Quentin Johnston. Any improvements or trades? Love the team overall. My friend, I would say if we are going to be looking to do anything, I would like to be rostering more running backs on the bench in comparison to wide receiver in a format like this. So if we could possibly move off of Sky Moore by trading him in a package with another piece to get a slight upgrade elsewhere, by going like Sky Moore and Keenan Allen and seeing if we can pivot over and instead get someone like Calvin Ridley, I think that'd be a little bit interesting. That way we could just get that extra roster spot where we could pick up another running back off the waiver wire, my friend. And real quick, y'all know usually we do 3 drafts on this live stream, but we will fire up a 4th draft tonight if we hit 1,500 likes on the live stream. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, and we'll possibly fire up 4 drafts today. Now, Joe coming out says in a 12-team PPR format, Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, Miles Sanders, Rashad White, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, TJ Hawkinson, as well as Christian Watson. I mean, we're sitting in a spot where you possibly have 2 wide receiver 1s, an elite tight end, an elite quarterback. You have running back production as well. So I really like that in a 12-team format particular. I mean, I don't really understand how we got it in 12-team league. Round 1 pick, Nick Chubb. Round 2, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Round 3, somehow Chris Olave makes it back. Round 4, somehow Josh Allen's there. Hawkinson, and then maybe Christian Watson makes it to round 6. So maybe it was a keeper league. And that's how you got that kind of value. Now, Deebo Samuel goes pick 30. A little bit early for Deebo, but if you reach on Deebo Samuel at the beginning of the 3rd round, you are going to be in a spot where you have a unique team compared to the rest of the field. Just generally only goes at the 3-4 turn. Carlos asking Barkley or Henry. If it's going to be a full PPR format, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Saquon Barkley. If it's going to be a non-PPR league, I'm going to go ahead and pivot over to Derrick Henry, my friend. Let's move this over. Travis Etienne off the board at 38. Let's see how far Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall fall. I mean, in the drafts that we were doing yesterday after Ezekiel Elliott signed, you still had Ramondre Stevenson going at like pick 31 in a lot of those drafts. Now I think if he's going to be falling to the middle of the 4th round, that's going to be a much more reasonable price tag. I mean, y'all see the day that happened, we went through and we updated our rankings on flockfantasy.com, and we moved Breece Hall as well as Ramondre Stevenson down from round 3 selections to round 4 selections. If either guy were to make it to me at 48, I think both of them would be really appealing. Now, you don't get Ramondre on the way back around to pick 48. He does go 42, and I'm fine. If you want to take Ramondre Stevenson at pick 42, go ahead and do that. I just really can't take him over Travis Etienne. I mean, that's where it gets like, I don't know if we can be doing that. Okay. Adrian flexing on us saying I have 0 Breece and Stevenson. Well, congrats, my friend. Congrats. And I will say it's a little bit of a bad spot for me in that since DeAndre Hopkins signed with Tennessee, I have been drafting a lot of Treylon Burks at a discount just because I prefer him over the other guys such as like Elijah Moore in that range. So sad to see that we are now not going to have access to taking Treylon Burks, and a lot of those teams, I mean, maybe not looking too hot right now. Now, Terry McLaurin off the board 45. Christian Watson makes it down to 44. I'd been really excited about having Christian Watson there. Okay. Let's see what these teams do right before us. There are 2 guys that I would love and a couple players I would settle for. DeAndre Hopkins was one of those guys that I would have loved, but it is what it is, not getting him. Now, the question is, do we take Joe Burrow to pair up with T. Higgins, even if we already have Mahomes in the best ball format? The answer to that question is no, we do not. I mean, I was hoping the Chase team would take him and we would get Joe Mixon. So we are going to go ahead. We are going to take TJ Hawkinson as well as Kenneth Walker. Taking them together at the 4-5 turn is going to lead us to a little bit of a unique combo where generally both these guys go in the middle of round 5. We can't take an elite level quarterback when we already took Patrick Mahomes. On top of this, if you're going to be looking at the wide receivers in this range, Christian Kirk really doesn't look draftable for me at this point. At this price, that is. Just given the fact that, I mean, if you looked at the preseason usage, Zay Jones was the wide receiver out there with Calvin Ridley in 2 wide receiver sets. Christian Kirk was only on the field in 3 wide receiver sets. So it is what it is. Now, next question. Floodgate coming out with a massive donation. Long-time member of the flock. My man, thank you so much for being with us for so long now, saying, my goat Mason loved the videos. I'm in a 12-team PPR league, and I got picked 2, and I'm planning on taking CMC. At the 2-3 turn, what should we be looking for? I was thinking of taking Olave in either Najee or Etienne. What would you do there? I really like the idea to go Olave at the 2-3 turn if that's going to be the best wide receiver available to you. But to be honest with you, if you started off Christian McCaffrey in round 1, I would actually probably pivot over and see if we can get an elite level quarterback at the 2-3 turn. Like if we could instead possibly go and get, I don't know, maybe Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, literally any of those guys. Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, I'm fine with them at the 2-3 turn. Now, what's very interesting is that team had 2 that had Chase and Joe Mixon. They decided to take Justin Fields here ahead of Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow falls down to the team at 54 that has no Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, there comes a point in a draft where you just kind of say, okay, well, let's take Burrow and let's just get the value. But Shane coming out says rank Hollywood, Deontay, Terry McLaurin, Amari, and Keenan Allen. Here we're going to go Amari Cooper, top dog. Then afterwards, we're most likely going to go Keenan Allen, then Terry McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, and lastly, Deontay Johnson. Marty asking Bijan Robinson or Austin Eckler. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson over Austin Eckler, but I am very biased with that, my friend. So honestly, I'm probably not the best person to ask. Hook 'em horns. Now, Bill Crosby says, best ball mania team before the Dalvin trade. Quarterback, we have Fields, Rodgers. Running back, we have Hall, Etienne, Pierce, Harris. Wide receiver, Diggs, Garrett. Oh my gosh. Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Hollywood Brown, Zay Flowers, Kadarius Toney, Nico Collins, Darnell Mooney. Tight end, Komet Gesicki. How good was the draft? I really like it. I would have really liked it more if we could have picked up a 3rd tight end, especially now that we know that Mike Gesicki's dealing with the shoulder injury. But outside of that, I mean, looks great, my man. Looks great. Now, Bam Kim says, in one league, I have Eckler and Chubb and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Mark Andrews. I mean, I really like it. If you look at these drafts, I mean, Eckler, Chubb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are all borderline round 1 selections. The fact that you had all 3 of those on the team does feel a little not fair. LOLG, yes, longtime member of the Flocks. To say, Mason, I don't know if you remember me from last season from donations, but love you even more for the GOAT Mahomes pick. No, thank you so much for stopping back by, my man. Happy to see that you are back out with us this season. Now, Darren Waller goes 63. Darren Waller continuing to move up these draft boards. I'm not going to be surprised if at one point Darren Waller ends up moving ahead of George Kittle in these drafts. By no means am I saying that should happen, but that's the way it's trending. Now, Gumbo says, best ball, 5th pick. We have Cuz, Wilson, Stroud. Fine with 3 quarterbacks with that build. Running back, we have CMC, Jacobs, Hall, Montgomery, Hubbard. Wide receiver, we have Devonta Smith, Drake London, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson, Michael Thomas, Nico Collins, Marvin Mims, Tank Dell. Tight end, we have Komet Laporta. What are your thoughts? LCL sprain for Burks. Timetable is usually 4 to 6 weeks. That is just freaking brutal for Treylon Burks. But looking at this, very similar to the team previous. I really do like the team. I like the correlation that we have. I think a lot hinges on Michael Thomas and the availability of him this next season. The really only criticism that I have is if you were to wait to make your top 2 tight ends, say Cole Kmet and Sam Laporta, I would definitely opt in for going with a 3rd tight end in that instance, even if that means you don't draft Tank Dell and instead you grab Hunter Henry. I just think that in general, the tight ends at the very end of drafts are going to project to score as many points as the wide receivers in that range. And if you wait that long to grab tight ends, I'm not going to fault you at all for taking another. Now let's move this down, and we are going to be up on the clock. So far we've started with the elite quarterback with Mahomes. We have a solid running back, Kenneth Walker. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson Higgins. And then tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson as well, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what happens here. Gabe Davis off the board, 69. That's to the Josh Allen team. Okay. Dalvin Cook goes 70. I would have not been taking Dalvin Cook here. Addison goes, was there news with Miles Sanders out versus Giants maybe until week 1? That is not great, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Chuba Hubbard may need to get pushed up just a bit, but I mean, I'm not really going to hesitate to just go ahead and take Miles Sanders here over at pick 72. If you look at the contract and look at the volume that he projects to see week 1, I mean, if you're comparing him to the other running backs in this range, it does kind of seem like Miles Sanders is almost the no-brainer selection there. But, oh my gosh, thank you so much for all the donations, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate it. Now, a felony just flexing on us out here says, started Tyreek, Waddle, DK, London, McLaurin in a puppy 3. You used to be able to get Tyreek and Waddle paired together pseudo regularly. Now it just never happens. Cray says 6th pick in a redraft, take Bijan, Chubb, or Kelsey. I'm not going to be considering Chubb over Bijan. It's definitely going to come down to Bijan Robinson or Travis Kelsey. If you have multiple flex spots, I'd go Bijan Robinson. If you only have one flex, I'd go Kelsey. Frank says, with all the running back news in my 10-team PPR format, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. 2nd pick overall, is CMC the best option? And advice for the 2 to 3 rounds also. So generally, if you're going to be in a league where you only have 1 flex and there are 10 teams in that format, I am 100% willing to opt in for an elite level running back in round 1 in comparison to wide receiver. So yes, if you wanted to go CMC there, I'm going to be fine. And then at the 2-3 turn, if we have access to an elite level quarterback such as Jalen Hurts, I'm definitely going to pull the trigger on that. And then I think you'll be in a very flexible position to just go best player available, whether or not you believe that's a running back or a wide receiver. But generally in that 10-team format where you only have 1 flex, you're going to find great wide receivers regardless. Now, Shane says, would stacking Amari in round 4 and Deshaun Watson be good? I mean, yeah, I really like that bet. Christian says, I'm new. I don't understand Kelsey in round 1. Help. Yeah, so Kelsey's had 3 straight seasons of tied in 1 finishes, my friend. So, I mean, it's very hard to get away from Kelsey if you're just looking at the positional advantage that he is giving you compared to the rest of the field. So he's going to go round 1 in every draft. LOLG says, if you're not picking Jefferson first, what are you doing? So the instance that I would not be picking Justin Jefferson first would only be in a format that really incentivizes you to go with either running back or tight end out the gate. So that's going to go back to that format where maybe there are only 10 teams in the league and you start 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, and you're saying, well, I'm going to get such good wide receiver values later on that I don't need to go Jefferson. So if that's going to be the instance, really the only time we'd be pivoting is to Christian McCaffrey. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go Jefferson. But Jeff says, 12-team league, Burrow, Henry, Jones, Swift, Chase, Lamb, London, Kelsey, coming off a championship, but 0 good picks in the next 2 years and 0 depth. Should we sell Kelsey, Henry, AJ Brown, or hold? So generally, if you've gone through and if you've mortgaged every single future pick in your dynasty format, then at that point, you are already pot committed to winning this season, and you are going to have a long road back to being competitive in the first place. So might as well just stick with the team that you have now, see if we can win again, see if we can cover some of those those league dues. And then obviously 2 years from now, your team's going to be garbage, but that's what you signed up for, trading away all your future picks. Once you've gone all in, it's very hard to take those chips back out of the middle and try to reload for the following season. I think you just try to win it this year, my man. Now, GBD12 says, hey, Mason, I maxed my drafts this year at 400. Any advice on how to keep up with so many drafts during the season to make it fun, but not sweat so much? So obviously for me, it's going to be a little bit different, right? If you did 400 best ball drafts on Underdog, what I just generally do, and that's probably going to be about the number I'm at this year, my friend, is I'm just looking at my exposures, right? So, last year, my most drafted guys were Jacobs, Mahomes, and Jalen Waddle, plus Kenneth Walker. But nonetheless, we were just going through and I was just rooting for those guys every Sunday. And then those players that I drafted zero of, such as Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman Jr., there I was kind of rooting against them every Sunday, if that makes sense. So I just look at that exposures, and that's kind of how you're dictating who you're rooting for, who you're rooting against, my friend. But let's go through and see our next question. Matthias says, keep three in a PBR format. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Olave, JT, and Joe Mixon. Definitely going to go A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson. I think we're most likely going to go Jonathan Taylor. Backup option would be Chris Olave, and that's only if some major breaking news happens with JT. Okay, but let's pivot this back over, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to be on the clock. Obviously, Treylon Burks falling a considerable amount in this draft, which is something that you would naturally expect. I don't know if he would take Burks if he were to make it to us at 96 with the report that he's going to miss, 4 to 5 weeks. God knows exactly what the timeline is, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. The report with Tourney doesn't sound great either, that he won't be rushed back. Cortland Sutton's back and playing. See what these teams right ahead of us do. Kadarius Toney goes off the board 94, so sadly we are not going to be able to stack Patrick Mahomes with either Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney, with both of them already gone. This team has Fields, Joe Mixon. They go Isaiah Pacheco. We are looking Pacheco here, so we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is not a comfortable position to be in. I'm not taking Burks. I'm not taking Tua. We don't have Waddle. We don't have Tyreek. I mean, y'all know I'm not a big Sutton guy, but now that Tim Patrick's out for the year, I'm fine taking Sutton. I mean, yes, last year we called him the worst pick in fantasy, but that's when he was going in round 3 and people were saying he's the next Cooper Kupp. Now we're drafting him as the wide receiver 46, so it's going to be a little bit different. And I think we're also just going to go ahead and, do we just take A.J. Dillon? Let's just take A.J. Dillon and we'll figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I think A.J. Dillon ends up outscoring the other wide receivers in this range. And it's not like we have a big need for a wide receiver, but I mean, definitely frustrating a little bit, right, that we get sniped on both of the Kansas City Chiefs players right before a selection. But ladies and gentlemen, real quick, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we hit 1,500 likes on this stream, we are going to be firing up 4 drafts tonight, not just 3. So go ahead and go down there and drop that like button. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, we are doing these every single night on the live stream on Underdog Fantasy. They're best ball, so they're not going to replace your main fantasy football league. Instead, they're just going to be some extra fun on the side. There's no time commitment at all during the year. That's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. And of course, if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. But our next one coming out from Devin says, why are you so high on Christian Watson? I feel like you're putting a lot of faith in Jordan Love, and we have no idea. What if he craps the bed? Yeah, so if Christian Watson, ends up disappointing because Jordan Love is not good, that's 100% a possibility, and that's something that I'm willing to risk. And that's why Christian Watson right now is going to go right before someone like Terry McLaurin, right? Terry McLaurin has never been a top 20 wide receiver from a points per game perspective, and he's turning 28 years old. So if we're looking at his range of outcomes in comparison to someone like Christian Watson, while I understand that Christian Watson definitely has a lower floor, based on his yards per route run at 2.7 last year, really only being behind guys like Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Jamar Chase, I'm willing to go ahead and I'm willing to just take the risk with Christian Watson. I have no idea if Jordan Love's going to be good or not, but it's a risk that I'm willing to take. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Ryan says, this is best ball, right? So should I expect players drafted at the same or different spots in Yahoo Fantasy? So if you're going to be in your regular fantasy football league, the big thing that you should expect is quarterback twos shouldn't go until the very end of your draft. I would say the same thing with tight end twos. So since this is best ball, everybody's going to be taking 2 to 3 quarterbacks, 2 to 3 tight ends. Inherently, those positions on the back end are going to get pushed up drafts, while at the same time, wide receivers in these best ball underdog drafts will be pushed up as well. So I would say expect in your regular Yahoo Fantasy League that essentially at the top end of the draft, things are going to remain relatively the same, but wide receivers will be pushed down draft boards, my friend. Now, Money Mitch says, swap my 7th pick for the 2nd to take Bijan Robinson. Would it be swapping full picks or should we go wide receiver? Hill's going 1 already announced. Keeper league, Jefferson, Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp being all. Oh, so if you can tell me you're going to swap all of your picks from slot 7 to everybody's picks at 2, 100%. We're going to go ahead. We are going to do that. We are going to get Bijan Robinson because in that keeper format, I mean, at pick 7, you're just going to be looking at a player pool that's going to be significantly worse than what you would expect in a baseline league. So if Jefferson, Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp aren't going to be available, then at pick 7, what are we looking for? I mean, pick 7, you're pretty much looking for Nick Chubb, right? So if we can swap from Nick Chubb to get a Bijan Robinson in a full PPR format, that's a no-brainer, my friend. Now, Sam says, Superflex League, would you keep Watson in the 12th or Olave in the 11th? I think it's going to be very dependent on your exact league and how your league marketplace operates at quarterback. It's very simple if you're in a Dynasty Superflex League where everybody operates about the same league to league in terms of how they value quarterbacks. In a redraft, it's going to be very dependent. So I would look at how many keepers you have across the league at quarterback historically, and then use that to make your decision. I want to tell you to go ahead and take Deshaun Watson in a baseline level expectation would be Watson, but at the same time, I've seen some redraft keeper leagues where, I mean, people are just crazy in that they don't value quarterback. Now, Cameron says, is Devontae Adams at a 2nd too cheap to move Justin Fields for? He's my 3rd quarterback on a contender, but everyone else is down on him. Should I just hold? If it's going to be a 1 quarterback format, you can sell Fields for Devontae Adams in a 2nd. And a super flex format, no way in hell you have to hold him. FF Addicts is just donated because everyone else is. Well, thank you, my man. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody supporting the channel. Benny says, you think Aiden O'Connell has a chance to pass Jimmy G? No. Okay. Baseline expectation is for those day 3 NFL quarterbacks to pretty much do nothing, right? If they give you anything, you should be pumped. You should be really excited about it, and it would come as a surprise. Jimmy Garoppolo will most likely be the starter for the Raiders this next year. I will admit, he looked good. O'Connell, that is. Trust me, I watched that game so I could see if our guy Trey Lance was going to look good. He didn't. Spoiler alert. But, yeah, baseline expectation is no. Now, our next question coming out from LOLG says, I remember the 24-hour live stream last year. Your voice was done at the end. I assume you won't be doing that again. There's a possibility that we do another 24-hour live stream, my friend. If we hit 200,000 subscribers on this channel before the season starts, I will go ahead and I will fire up another 24-hour stream. We're going to be cutting it close. I chose 200,000 because I thought we would not have any chance to hit that. But how often y'all been going down there and dropping a like on our videos, our live streams? It looks like we actually have a shot to hit 200,000 subscribers this year. And if that happens before the season starts, I will do 24 hours straight live streaming of underdog drafts again, my man. But Mike says, pick 7 and 8 in a standard league. Are we going to go Lamar and Andrews around 4 and 5? I mean, obviously, if it's an 8-team league, you just essentially have to view those rounds 4 and 5 picks more so as rounds like 3 and 4 picks. And yeah, I'd be completely fine going Lamar and Andrews there. And an 8-team format, wide receiver and running back depth is going to be, I mean, it's going to be super easy to come by. So I would grab the elite level quarterback if we can. Now, McKeel coming out says, CMC, JT, Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Deontay Johnson, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Tyler Boyd, Juju, Zay Jones, Gallup, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Renfro, Goddard, trash quarterback duo on Underdog. Okay, that was going to be my first question. Is this an Underdog team or is this a regular redraft team? Because if it was a regular redraft team, you have no business rostering those wide receivers. But yeah, I mean, in Underdog, it's going to be interesting if those running backs can work out for you. Obviously, going with the hyper fragile builds, not a super popular thing that people are doing this year, but that actually won Best Ball Mania the first season on Underdog Fantasy, my friend. But our next one, Money Mitch says 12-team 3 wide receiver double flex, no kicker, no defense. So let's go back and let's look at what Money Mitch was saying. If I can find this, my friend. Okay, swap. Oh, yeah. Especially in that format, go ahead and do it. I mean, obviously, wide receiver is going to be a little bit more important than they would otherwise. But yeah, no, we're still doing it. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Hash Slinging Slasher says, best ball puppy draft. Lawrence, Geno, Kyler at quarterback. Wide receiver, Lamb, Judy, Lockett, Flowers, Mims, Devontae Parker, Paris Campbell. Running back, we have Barkley, Mixon, Kamara, Elijah Mitchell, Tyler Algier. And tight end, we have Evan Ingram, Zach Ertz, as well as Mike Gesicki. I like the team in general. One thing that I stay away from in these underdog best ball drafts is I really try not to take 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends on the same team. I really like going with one or the other, right? I want to go 3 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, or I want to go 2 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. Sometimes you have to do it though. Now, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 600 likes on this live stream. If y'all have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. If we had 1,500 likes in this live stream, we are going to be firing up 4 drafts tonight instead of 3. Now, Richie says, I pick 6 in a redraft format. Do I go Kelsey? Generally, yes. If you have, say, 2 to 3 flex spots, then at that point, I think we pivot over to wide receiver. David says, slow play, big dog. I have Bijan, Mahomes up next with Metcalf, Amari, Andrews available. Am I done for? Thinking of taking Andrews. Generally, if we've only gone with running back and quarterback through the first 2 rounds in an underdog draft, I would really want to get a wide receiver to give us flexibility later on, especially if it's a high stakes underdog draft as well. So we're going to go ahead. I'm actually probably going to take DK Metcalf there, my friend. But let's get a sparkling water going, ladies and gentlemen. I am already out of breath this live stream and have a headache. So hopefully this sparkling water can give us the dopamine we need to keep it going. Yes. I saw y'all were asking about it in the live chat. Thank you for reminding me, my friend. Now, Jared says, my puppy draft has Hurts, Daniel Jones, quarterback. Running back, we have Henry, Etienne, Dalvin. Wide receiver, Tyreek, London, Evans, Pittman, Sutton. Tight end, we have Freiermuth, Higbee, Hunter Henry. I really like this team from a roster construction perspective. I mean, I'm assuming we had a bunch more in terms of wide receiver depth there. But yeah, I think that was appropriate to go 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks with that build. I like the value we got on those RBs. Yeah, so I like that team, my friend. Okay. Versus there's still 5 spots left in the $500 draft. So just in case y'all are just now coming in, we are currently sitting in the lobby in the $500 underdog draft tournament. It's the Bulldog 2. It's the tournament that last year I won. I got first place in that one. I won another tournament as well. I won the Big Dog tournament for $100,000. I won the Bulldog 2 for $20,000 last year as well. But the Bulldog 2 this year has a first place prize of $100,000. So fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking it home. Taking it home. Cole Kmet off the board, 142. Okay, let's see. I know who we want. I know the 2 players we want. Hopefully we get them both. We do get them both. We're going to go Dalton Schultz here. We pair up Dalton Schultz, T.J. Hawkinson. I don't think we have to take a 3rd tight end. And we're going to go Rashee Rice as well to pair up with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we should have gone, say, Rashee Rice and Marquez Valdez-Scantling to get the double stack there with that Kansas City Chiefs offense. In reality, we already took Nico Collins, so taking Dalton Schultz does set us up with a potential spot to take C.J. Stroud at the very end of this draft. And also taking Dalton Schultz, we only have to take 2 tight ends in this draft. So I actually really like this team. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Higgins, Pickens, Sutton, Nico Collins, Juju, as well as Rashee Rice. Quarterback, we have Mahomes. Tight end, we have Hawkinson, Dalton Schultz. Running back, we have Kenneth Walker, Miles Sanders, A.J. Dillon. So I like this team. I like this team. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Tyler says, love the streams as always. Just had Kyler follow me at pick 213 in a puppy. Wasn't going to grab a quarterback 3, but I had to. What's your opinion on him at this ADP? I mean, you have to, right? Just because like this underdog tournament here, especially you're drafting in the puppy, right? It's a $5 buy-in. It's $200,000 for first place, $1 million prize pool. What we are trying to optimize for here with this tournament is weeks 15, 16, 17 to have the highest ceiling we possibly can. That way we could possibly come away with a $200,000 first place prize. In weeks 15, 16, 17, Kyler Murray has the rushing upside where he potentially could be the quarterback one in fantasy. So I like it. Now, Adithia coming out. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, my friend, I am sorry, I'm an idiot. But 10-team PPR double flex league where we have Hurts, Barkley, Mixon, Diggs, Hollywood, Ayuk, Lockett, Goddard. Hell yes, we have the Goddard stack with Jalen Hurts. On the bench, we have Burks, Dillon, Chark, Tourney. Any suggestions for changes? So generally in like a 10-team PPR format, this is going to be where I want to go ahead and I want to try to load up our bench with some extra running backs rather than wide receiver depth. So DJ Chark, in my mind, is a great pick on Underdog, right? Because on Underdog, if you take DJ Chark as a wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, and he turns out to be a wide receiver 3, then he can actually help you win money. He can actually help you win your league. However, if it's like a 10-team league on ESPN where you have to submit your starting lineup each and every week, if you draft DJ Chark as like a wide receiver 6 and put him on your bench, and then he turns into a wide receiver 3, does it really help you at all? Probably not, right? Realistically speaking, it doesn't really do anything for you. So I would much prefer to be in a spot where we just have access to a running back that if he signs, like he pops in value, maybe someone like Leonard Fournette, while at the same time we can go ahead and cut him if things don't work right at the beginning of the year. Jaden says, I have Waddle, Olave, London, JSN, Addison. Would it be worthwhile to trade Waddle for Ridley to stack with my quarterback? No, I mean, I definitely like the idea of going through and getting our stack with Trevor Lawrence, right? But to go through and trade away Jalen Waddle to get to Calvin Ridley, you're just going a clear tier down, right? I mean, I'm fine going a ranking spot down or 2 ranking spots down as long as we're in the same tier when we're trading those wide receivers to complete our stack. I'm not going to be trading down in tiers from Waddle to Ridley, though. Now, Chicken says, 12-team PPR keeper league, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and a flex, keeping A.J. Brown at the 312, Olave at the 707, stuck on the last keeper between Amari in the middle of the 4th, James Conner in the middle of the 9th, or Rashad White at the end of the 11th. So this is a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers, and you have to start 4 of them. So in this kind of format, we are highly incentivized to go ahead and just load up on wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So honestly, my friend, I would go ahead. I would keep Amari Cooper in the middle of the 4th round here, and then just make sure you start off with that core of A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, Amari, still having your 1st and 2nd round selection to make some plays with. Now, Eric says 10-team PPR league where we start 5. We can't start up to 5 wide receivers, keeping Garrett Wilson in the 10th, Jalen Hurts in the 7th. With the 3rd guy, we're going to go round 2, Stephon Diggs, or round 5, Jalen Waddle. If it was a 12-team league, I would definitely say Waddle. With it being a 10-team format, I'm a little bit more inclined to just go ahead and say keep Stephon Diggs. Because the big thing you have to remember, right, is if everybody in the league's keeping 3 players, that 2nd round cost to keep them is not really a 2nd round cost. It is much cheaper than that. It's really like a round 5 pick. And if you look at the difference between like a round 5 selection and a round 7 selection, the opportunity cost there isn't massive. So I would probably just go ahead and I would probably just keep the best guy, which would be Diggs. Now, I was not expecting on taking another tight end, but with the Burks injury, I think it makes sense to go ahead and push him up just a bit. So we're going to take the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. And then Whit Miller shouldn't miss much time. I mean, if that's the report coming out and we need another running back, we will go ahead and we'll take him. But once we take our 3rd tight end here, we do lock ourselves into only taking 2 quarterbacks. Now, when we have Mahomes, we have that flexibility where we only have to take 2 QBs, right? So we will most likely just look at someone like CJ Stroud at the very end of this draft. Now, wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Higgins, Pickens, Sutton, Nico Collins, Juju Smith-Schuster, Rashee Rice. Quarterback, we have Patrick Mahomes. Tight end, we have Hawkinson, Schultz, and the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. And running back, we have Miller, Dillon, Sanders, and Walker. Okay. But Merck says, hey, Mason, in a 10-team league where we can only start up to 3 wide receivers. Actually, no, we can start up to 4 wide receivers. Just one's weird flex. Should we take Bijan at 7, or does having the tight end slot also mean wide receivers, blah, blah, blah? No, so in general, if you don't have to start a tight end here, yeah, obviously we're not interested in tight ends in the slightest. With this being a 10-team format, I'm still fine if you want to go ahead and take Bijan Robinson. It's close where like Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp's there. You can go ahead and you can make an argument to take one of those guys, but I still probably go Bijan. Brian says, was Saquon gone by my pick with 9th selection in 12-team league. Do I take Nick Chubb or Stephon Diggs in a happy BR format? Kelsey, my league, will not go to the end of round 1, by the way. If you only have one flex spot in your league, I'd actually go Travis Kelce over both these guys. And then if not, I'm going to go ahead and take Nick Chubb. Now, if instead you can say start up to 4 or 5 wide receivers, I'd pivot over to Stephon Diggs. But especially with the full PPR format, where we'll be a little bit more inclined to put Chubb in the flex. Anthony coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. And Timothy says, have the 101 in the keeper format due to the keepers, Eckler, Kelce, Tyreek, Bijan. Okay, I'm sorry. Due to the keepers, these are the guys at the top of ADP. I thought you meant those were the guys being kept. Do I trade to the 103 or 104, or do we stay? We are going to be keeping Garrett Wilson. I mean, I'd say if you're looking at how the tiers are going to break, you have a top tier of 4 guys here with Bijan, Kelce, Eckler, Tyreek in whatever order that you rank them. So if you could move down from the 101 to the 104 and pick up a considerable amount of value as well, say you go from 101 to 104, and then at the same time, we're going to be picking up an extra 3rd round pick, then yeah, let's do it. Nick says, how often do you do are you going 2 quarterback, 2 tight ends in underdog drafts? It was something that I did a lot in the past, but now that wide receivers have been pushed up so much and you can get pretty strong values on a 3rd quarterback or a 3rd tight end, now generally I'm not doing it very often. This year, I think honestly, I'm completely fine going with a lighter wide receiver mold just because these guys are so much more expensive. I think the opportunity cost is a little different. Now, Will says, a 10-player PPR ESPN keeper. I have Olave as my keeper. I'm a pick 10. Should I go wide receiver, running back, wide receiver? It's very difficult to know right now. And is it a reach to get Jalen Hurts in the turn? What do you think? Who do you think will take Bijan? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If it's going to be a 10-team league where you can only start out the 3 wide receivers, we are highly inclined to go running back. With that being said, I don't know the keepers that are being kept, so I can't tell you exactly what players that we're going to be going with. And of course, don't all of a sudden be taking Travis Etienne in round 1 just because we said to go running back. Wide receiver value is wide receiver value. That's where you go, my man. And then it depends on how many keepers there are. If there are only 10 keepers in the league, then at that point, no, I'm not going to take Jalen Hurts at the 1-2 turn, even though I really do like Jalen Hurts. If there are like 20, 30 keepers in the league, then hell yeah, let's take Jalen Hurts there. Okay. Now let's go. Anthony says, I have CMC in a keeper league and I'm the 2nd pick in a redraft. We have Kelce, Tyreek, Saquon, Chubb available. Who's the 2nd best keeper? I mean, so obviously if you're looking long-term, it's not going to be Kelce. Kelce turns 34 this year. I mean, but if you're only going to keep 1 player a year, you should just treat it like it's redraft. I mean, you shouldn't treat it like, oh, I need to be thinking about the long-term value with this player. So if it's just going to be treated as 2023, I'm going to go ahead and take Travis Kelce. Starting Kelce, CMC is just nuts, so. But Jake says, at the 112, who do you think, what do you think so far? Let's go ahead and let's check out Jake's team right after we make our next selection. We're most likely going to be looking at CJ Stroud here, ladies and gentlemen. Get CJ Stroud paired up with the combo of Dalton Schultz as well as Nico Collins. Brock Purdy falling a considerable amount. Deuce Vaughn off the board, pick 190. I'm not going to be taking any Deuce Vaughn this year. I'm just waiting for this team to pick. I don't know if they're watching the live stream wanting to snipe us. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to reach a ton on our next guy. We're going to be taking CJ Stroud as well as Leonard Fournette. Now let's go ahead. Let's check out Jake's team at pick 12 in this draft. He went Nick Chubb, Garrett Wilson out the gate, followed it up with Lamar Jackson round 3. I really like the Lamar pick in general. 5 and 6, Godwin, Aaron Jones. I don't know if I've seen Aaron Jones fall to the 6th round once here. Dallas Goedert round. Oh my, this is a beautiful team, my man. The only thing I would say is I would have gone Kyle Pitts over Zay Flowers. If you would have gone like Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts there at the 7-8 turn, then here, instead of taking Freiermuth, you probably want to go wide receiver, go like Jameson Williams, Tyler Boyd. I mean, I really like the team in the first place, but I mean, it could have been even, I don't know. That's just some insane value with those tight ends right there. But let's go ahead and let's hop into our next draft, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we are currently waiting in the Bulldog 2 lobby if anybody wants to hop in a $500 draft with us. But If you're new to Underdog, do not do that. If you're new to Underdog, this is the tournament you want to be in. You want to be in the Puppy 3. It's a $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, $200,000 first place prize. It's going to be the best place for you to get some practice fantasy football drafts for your main league this next year at a cheap cost while having a lot of fun. And we actually had a member of the flock win the Puppy tournament last season. So hopefully we're able to claim that back-to-back years. Now we're going to be at pick 12, ladies and gentlemen. So the exact opposite of what we just saw. And Nicholas says, happy BR, start 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes. How do you attack the draft from the 103, specifically at the 2-3 turn, 4-5 turn? Honestly, if we can start up to 5 wide receivers, I'm completely fine with you going Jamar Chase at the 103 and then going wide receiver at the 2-3 turn and 4-5 turn, if I'm going to be frank. I mean, if you can go like Chase, Olave, Waddle with our first 3 picks, I mean, that would be beautiful. Then obviously 4 and 5, we do want to go ahead and we want to, continue to take best player available, but starting off with your base of 3 wide receivers, that'd be a great spot to be in. Now, our next question coming out from Cody says, hey, Mason, in a 12-team Superflex league, drafting from the 10 spot, what approach should I take? Keep up the great work. No, thank you so much, my man. If you're in a Superflex format, obviously it's going to be very dependent on how your league's going to value the quarterback position. Generally, I would definitely be looking to try to at least get 1 quarterback there at the 1-2 turn. And if you get a sense that your league is going to have that quarterback run right after your picks, I don't mind going ahead and double tapping the quarterback position, especially if we can start like Lamar, Deshaun Watson. Of course, we're not going to be able to start with the guys like, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I don't even know Lamar Jackson's going to make it there, but if he would, we would love it. And then also, we could just go through and say the other guys, but I would definitely at least try to get 1 quarterback through the first 2. Big Route says, is Jefferson still the 101 in a 10-team PPR format? Personally, I'm going to go Jefferson in almost every format at the 101 besides Superflex. The only time I would really pivot, if it's like an 8-team league, we're only going to start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. They're just wide receiver depth's not going to matter at all. Cody says, 12-team ESPN PPR format, Adams, Pollard, Diggs left at the 112. If you could start 4 or 5 wide receivers, it'd be so easy to go Adams, Diggs. If you really wanted to go Pollard, Diggs to stay balanced, I'm not going to fault you. Just given the fact that, Pollard looks so much safer now, right? So much safer now. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you don't know what we are doing, this is what we're doing every single night on the live stream, drafting in these Underdog Fantasy football drafts. They're best balls to no time commitment at all during this season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year on Underdog. You can sign up with the link in the live chat, link in the comment section, link in the description if you want to draft with us. And if you use promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you are going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. It's the same spot where you see all the pick'em lines during the videos. And I actually just worked my butt off to get everybody who signed up with promo code FLOCK a free pick'em line week 1 this year. Josh Allen, more than half a passing yard against the Jets. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. And yeah, we're going to have 3 free pick'em lines for everybody this year who used promo code FLOCK, which I am super excited to give y'all. And just in case you didn't use promo code FLOCK and you're not going to have those free pick'em lines, other pick'em lines I like right now, Jordan Love for fewer than 13.5 interceptions this season, and DeAndre Swift for more rushing yards than Damian Harris this next season. Okay. Let's move this back around. And yeah, we're going to go A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown here at the 1-2 turn. I haven't taken these guys a ton together, generally because, I actually have Devontae Adams ranked ahead of A.J. Brown. But just if you look at where ADPs line up, you're going to be getting a better value or at least a more unique combo here if this is the start that we have. Right? We'll have a more unique combo with A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 1-2 turn. Now, Robert coming out with a donation. Thank you, my friend. And Johnny asking how Underdog tournaments work. So what's going to happen is you're going to play the regular season with these other 11 other drafters in your league. Then the top 2 teams with the total points at the end of the year are going to advance to the fantasy football playoff tournament, where you are going to be put into brackets for weeks 15. Well, you'll be in a bracket in weeks 15, and then the 2 highest scores in your bracket are going to advance to week 16. Then the 2 highest scores in that bracket are going to advance into week 17, and that's going to be the fantasy football championship, where you're in a pool with everybody else that made it to week 17, and first place prize in that pool for week 17 gets the 200,000. Second place gets the 100,000, all the way down the line, my friend. And Chandler says, what do you think of the Kelsey Mahomes combo, round 1 and 2 at picks 4 to 6? In underdog drafts, I really don't like it, just considering the fact that it's so much harder to find wide receiver value later on. However, if you're in your just casual redraft format and you're going to be able to find wide receiver value such like Calvin Ridley in round 5, Drake London in round 7, then hell yeah. I mean, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Kelsey and Mahomes and get that advantage. It just really depends on if you can find wide receiver value elsewhere. And we are 1 like away from hitting 800 likes in this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not hit that like button yet, please go down there and drop a like in the stream. If we hit 1,500 likes in this live stream, we're going to be getting 4 drafts underway, not just 3. We do 3 drafts every night, but we can start mixing in some streams with 4 drafts, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now Josh Jacobs goes 28. Interesting to see that team at 1 go Metcalf instead of Josh Allen. Gibbs goes 30. Now, keep in mind, if we're here at 36, 37, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher spot if you look at where Ramondre Stevenson, if you look at where Breece Hall are going to get drafted now, right? So, I mean, maybe it's going to be a little bit harder than it was previously. Lamar goes pick 34. Let's swing this back around. Yeah, so you see Ramondre Breece Hall still available. I mean, I know a lot of people are still advocating to go Ramondre Stevenson in round 3. Personally, I'm moving Ramondre Stevenson and Breece Hall behind Travis Etienne in our rankings. So we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Jerry Jeudy and Travis Etienne here. I understand a lot of other people just want to continue to do what they were doing. Just continue to take Ramondre, continue to take Breece Hall. I'm not going to say that these guys are undraftable by any means. I mean, of course, they're still extremely talented players that have solid projections, particularly at the end of the season for that fantasy football playoff tournament. But with that being said, I mean, it's just going to be very difficult for me to take him over someone like Travis Etienne. Okay. Now, Chandler asking how to turn on dark mode. My friend, dark mode is going to be at the top of your screen. It's like the little sun. Just click it, and it'll immediately turn to dark mode. Super simple. Bennett asking why not Najee. If you look at what Najee did from year 1 to year 2, and you run it through a screener to see how many running backs comp to have a similar rookie season and year 2 season as Najee Harris, where start off pretty strong with volume and then you decline in year 2. There are only 2 guys that came back in that RotoViz screener for us, and that was James Robinson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not saying Najee Harris is destined to be that by any means, but Travis Etienne, I mean, has not declined. We don't have to make excuses for Travis Etienne. The only thing that you're worried about with Etienne, I know a lot of people are worried about Bigsby. I'm not. Let Tank Bigsby go out there and let Tank Bigsby get 25, 30% of this backfield. That happens at every backfield. The only thing you have to worry about with Etienne is, does he expand his receiving down role this next year? Does he expand that? Campbell asking, when are we going to update our wide receiver rankings video? So the wide receiver rankings are updated on flockfantasy.com right now. We have our top 150 rankings there with tiers. Now, if you're not already on flockfantasy.com, of course, promo code FLOCK, 30% off any subscription. And also, if you sign up to flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK and use the mother Flocker tier, yours truly, Mason Dodd, will go ahead and make a podcast breaking down your fantasy football team for you. Now, I'm going to wait to do an updated wide receiver rankings video until we have more clarity on the Treylon Burks situation. So honestly, we'll probably do an updated wide receiver rankings video. Let's do it like Sunday. We'll do it Sunday. And also, real quick side note, if y'all are on flockfantasy.com and you're a paid member of flockfantasy.com, make sure you go to your account page And on your account page, there's going to be a place for you to put your Underdog username. Just put your Underdog username. This is another thing I worked my butt off to get y'all, so please take advantage. And you're going to get an extra $10 free added into your Underdog account. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. I worked my butt off to get it for y'all. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Jeffrey says, 12 team at PBR, 2 wide receivers in a flex. We only keep one guy. I'm at the 103. The 101 wants to move back to my spot for the 210, but I get the 301. Should I? Hell yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to be moving up 2 spots, but only moving back, 3 spots at a later part of the draft, that way you can lock in Bijan Robinson. Yeah, go get Bijan Robinson there, my man. Love it. Caden says, Underdog draft, Geno, Goff, Mixon, Etienne, Akers, Zeke. We better have good wide receivers. Lamb, St. Brown, Lockett, Tourney, Kittle, Goddard. Not finished. What are your thoughts? I like it. Do not take another tight end if you go with Kittle, Goddard in your draft. You can take a third quarterback if you want at the very end, and you're most likely going to be looking at a 5 running back build as well. Robert says, 8 team, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, double flex. Should I grab Kelsey in the first if there's a tight end? Oh, I'm 100% yes. If it's an 8-team format, there's already an inherent tight end premium, just because it's going to be so much harder for you to go out there and find tight ends that move the needle. You'll be able to find running backs. You'll be able to find wide receivers. But in an 8-team league, getting someone like Kelsey is going to be a straight up cheat code, especially if there's another tight end premium aspect to it where you're going to get a half-point per reception added on. Merck asking if we saw the Rappaport tweet regarding Burt. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll pull it up again, but I don't know if there was an update with Traylon Burks. We'll see. Johnny says, just curious how much is it to be a flocker? It's $13 a month. If you do an annual sub, I believe it is half off that. So it's like $80 for a year. And if you, like I said, and also if you put your Underdog username on your account page, you are going to get $10 added into your account. So if you treat that like a $10 coupon, if you're already on Underdog, it can be like $3 for you to go check it out. Now, Lockett goes 59. What do we want to do? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I think we probably want to go wide receiver. Let's mix it up. Let's go Mike Evans over Hollywood Brown. Let's go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stack here, 60-61. Set ourselves up with the ability to go Baker Mayfield at the end of this draft and possibly make one consolidated bet that we maybe see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense be better than people expect. We'll see. Gumbo says, $10 credit actually worked. W. Do you think I'm out here on a live stream in front of 1,500 people, 1,600 people, and lying to you about some $10 credit where you can immediately go and check it out, my man? Yes, like I said, if you go put your Underdog username on your account page, flogfantasy.com, you are going to get that extra $10. You think I would just sit here and lie about it, my man? Okay. Now, Bryce says, pick 8 in a 10-team league. If Trevor Lawrence falls to 8, would you take Mahomes at 12? Wait, what? Oh, Travis Kelce falls to 8. Honestly, I'd be fine with it. It's Ronick says that's just for first timers, right? No, it doesn't matter if you signed up to Underdog 2-3 years ago. It doesn't matter if you signed up to flogfantasy.com 6 months ago. It's a one-time offer. It's not like you can go and put your Underdog username in there and get $10 added to your account every single day. But it doesn't matter when you signed up to Underdog. It doesn't matter when you signed up to flogfantasy.com. Could have been 2 years ago. Could have been a month from now. It works for you, my friend. So yeah, just please go put, yeah. Like I said, I worked my butt off to get y'all this. So please make sure you just go to your account page, flogfantasy.com. I pull up my account page myself, but I have personal information on there. And just put in your Underdog username, and it'll add $10 into your Underdog account. Now, Jay Madden says, spending my birthday watching the flock. Thank you, my man, and happy birthday. Can everybody please spam the chat? Happy birthday, Jay Madden. And everybody spam the chat, happy B-Day. That's awesome, my man. Now, Joseph says, I'm in an 8-team league, double flex spot. At the 2 spot, is JT too risky at pick 18? I'll plan to start my draft off Chase, then Garrett Wilson. Be honest with you, I would kind of like a running back in this format in particular. In an 8-team league, I definitely look to go RB. I'm completely fine with you going JT there if you really wanted to in round 3. But I honestly probably mix a running back in that format in round 1 or 2 as well. Now, Kevin says, a redraft PPR 8-team league, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, double flex, no kicker or defense. If Bijan is gone, how do you feel about these options? Diggs, Chubb, other. 8-team league. The thing is, with an 8-team format, it's going to be so easy for you to find wide receivers later on. So I really want to stress this. If you are in an 8-team format, please make sure that you are pushing running backs up your draft board. Make sure that you are pushing them up. Now, let me check out real quick how many spots we have open in that $500 draft for everybody here. We have 3 spots open in that $500 draft. So it looks like we are going to get in that $500 draft at one point in this stream, my friend. Zach says, I'm at 3 in another puppy and did some wild stuff. Due to the way it fell, CMC, Hurts, Jacobs, Hall, Hopkins still. Good luck, my man. Obviously, it's a hyper fragile build, but I mean, getting Hopkins round 5 with the Burks injury is pretty big for you there. Versaire says, can also confirm, got the $10. I mean, get the $10, just got mine. Hell yes, my man. William says, how do I get the free 10? Okay, so obviously, let me run it through everybody. This is why I'm not mad at all. Obviously, you're giving me an opportunity to say it. I'm happy. I'm just letting everybody know. This is why I repeat myself 10 times in a live stream, and I annoy the hell out of y'all because a lot of people I've not heard. So, step 1, if you're not already drafting with me on Underdog, I do this every single day. They're best ball tournaments, no time commitment during the year. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up to $100. Plus, you will get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And yeah, available in damn near every state. You can see all the states here. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, if you are on Underdog Fantasy and you are a paid member to flockfantasy.com, go to your account page on flockfantasy.com. Just type your Underdog username where it says Underdog username, hit enter, and it will automatically add $10 to your Underdog account. So say you signed up to Underdog, $10, promo code FLOCK, you got that doubled to 20. You head over to flockfantasy.com, you put in your Underdog username, get that another $10 up to 30. And also, we are going to have 3 free pick'em lines for everybody on Underdog this year that use promo code FLOCK. They'll be exclusive to users with promo code FLOCK. There'll be other ones that are site-wide, so y'all are going to have a ton of free pick'em lines, but we're going to get y'all 3 extra ones, starting with Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard week 1. Now, Brian says, 12-team league, full PPR, starting Tua, Jacobs, Taylor, Hill, Amon-Ra, Pitts, Judy. The bench is Richardson, White, McLaurin, Dobbins, Irv Smith Jr. What are your thoughts? I like the team. The only thing is, we possibly want to drop Irv Smith Jr., pick up another running back on the bench. I don't know if we love rostering 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. I'd probably rather have an extra roster spot or 2 for a running back with upside down there on the bench in a traditional redraft format, but yeah, I mean, I like the team. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I would change, my friend. Okay. Now, Watson goes 90. So we took DeAndre Swift as well as Rachaad White there, 84, 85. Felt like pretty much a no-brainer. I mean, now we are all in on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. Now, I understand Baker Mayfield is most likely very bad, right? Baker Mayfield is most likely going to be atrocious this next season, and the Bucs are most likely going to be very bad with him. But there's never a guarantee in football. What if there's a 1% probability, and I'm just saying a 1% probability, that Baker Mayfield is actually good, and he goes out there and he puts a top 5 season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the books? Now, if that 1% probability actually happens, we could turn $5 into $200,000 in this tournament. So it's a super low probability of happening, right? That the Bucs turn out to be some phenomenal offense. But the probability that you turn $5 into $200,000 by winning one of these tournaments is also super low. So we're just trying to do everything that we can to have that. Now, Lasagna Lover coming out says, thoughts on the puppy draft at pick 10. We have Lawrence and Dak at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Lamb, Kirk, and Cooks. I'm an idiot. Running back, we have Eckler, Hall, Penny. Tight end, we have Evan Ingram and Mark Andrews through the first 10 rounds. Lamb stacked with Dak, Lawrence stacked with Ingram and Kirk. I like it. The only thing I would say, and y'all know I always have to try to find one way that I don't like the team just so I can possibly point out a way to improve. It's just something I'm trying to do. But if you look at the usage for the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receivers week 1 of the preseason, it was a little concerning in that it looked like looked like Christian Kirk was only going to get used in 3 wide receiver sets. It looked like Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley, those were the guys on the outside. Those were the guys that were getting used in 2 wide receiver sets, whereas Christian Kirk was relegated to slot duties, which is a possibility because you have to remember, that's what he was in college. That's what he was for a stretch in Arizona. So I'm a little bit lower on Kirk than a lot of people at this point. Hayes says, can you ever have too many stacks in a draft? Yes. I mean, at one point it does become a little bit absurd. Like having Godwin, Evans, Rachaad White, planning on taking Baker, I'm not going to take another Tampa Bay Buccaneer on this team, right? I mean, we wouldn't do it. Now, Joshua says, is it possible to be 2 week 17 pilled? Eckler, Olave. Okay, so personally, my friend, I am not a big week 17 guy. I think that if you are focusing in on week 17, I understand the merit behind it and I understand the thought process behind it, but you are most likely going to be led in the wrong direction, focusing on something that's slightly important, but in the overall scheme of things is probably 10th in the list of important things to do on Underdog. So if you notice, I don't talk about week 17 at all in these streams. I understand the thought process. I understand why people do it. I just don't inherently agree in how much it should be leveraged. Now we're going to go Antonio Gibson as well as Pat Freiermuth. Now I've drafted a considerable amount of Pat Freiermuth this offseason, and the usage was not great in the preseason, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it looks like Pat Freiermuth may be operating in a pseudo tight end by committee with Darnell Washington. Hopefully it was just a random preseason game. Hopefully it's something we don't have to be too concerned with, but it is at least worth pointing out. Now, Chief J coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. Okay. FF Addict says, win for the unique build in a puppy tournament. We have CMC, Devonta Smith, Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, Drake London, Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts, Sky Moore so far. What are your thoughts? London round 5 is great value. I like it, my friend. I like it. Generally, I'm not taking Sky Moore there unless I took Patrick Mahomes. But that's just a small note of what I'm doing. And OG says it's definitely very micro EV to look at week 17. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say week 17 holds zero importance. I think that there may be a tiny bit of expected value that you can pick up. But I think that 9 times out of 10, the people chasing that tiny bit of expected value are throwing out so many different important things on Underdog while chasing that week 17 correlation. So I think it's better to be said that at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Even if it truly does matter, but ever so slightly, just because I think other things matter so much more. Like I said, I was the only person on Underdog last year to win multiple tournaments. I had probably more teams advance to the playoffs than anybody else in terms of the percentage with the volumes of teams that we drafted. I got 16th place in Best Ball Mania. I won the Bulldog 2 tournament. I won the Big Dog tournament. And last year I focused 0% on week 17, even though it's the only thing people talked about. Okay. Now let's move this over. And of course, I'm an idiot. I could be wrong. I definitely just got extremely lucky next year. And I'm going to be honest with you. I expect to lose this season. Now, I Am Bank says, yo, brother, this is my high stakes $1,000 draft, 10-team PPR league. I crushed the, okay. This, can we get everybody to spam the chat? Some kind of congrats, some kind of GG. CMC Lamb. Lamb shouldn't make it out of round one. Then AJ Brown. AJ Brown shouldn't make it out of round one. Then Andrews Lamar at the 4-5 turn. Connor McLaurin, Pickens, Javonte, Addison, Robinson, Johnston, Penny, Lazard. Beautiful team, my man. Beautiful team. The only thing I would say is you possibly don't want to be rostering Lazard if we already have that much wide receiver production. Maybe it just makes sense to pick up another running back, but I mean, awesome team. I'm super happy for you, my friend. Now, Casey says 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end to flex. Who are we taking at the 101? No big names being capped. Honestly, probably Jalen Hurts if it's a true 2 quarterback format with 12 or more teams. Obviously, it's very difficult to say without knowing exactly how your league mates are going to draft. Like, it would suck to take Jalen Hurts at the 101 and then all of a sudden have Lamar making it back to you at the 2-3. I'm still probably going to go Jalen Hurts, my friend. Now, Chief J says, do you have a favorite NFL team yet, Mason? I do not, my friend. I mean, I was hoping to be a Bucs fan last year because I lived in Tampa last year. I tried rooting for the Bucs and I couldn't do it. I mean, I've talked about this a lot, but I got into the NFL in a completely different way than the majority of people. I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm not saying this is the wrong way. I would probably have way more fun if I had a team that I was if I was a diehard Cowboys fan, right? Sundays would probably be even better for me. I'd probably even have more fun than I already do on Sundays. But I just have a very hard time rooting for a team whenever I got into the NFL because of fantasy football. Like, I literally started playing fantasy football and then a couple years later started watching the NFL. So it's very hard for me to be a fan of a team, my friend. Now we're going to go Jared Goff, pair him up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I kind of like Elijah Mitchell here. Yeah, we're going to take Elijah Mitchell over Damian Harris. For no other reason than that's what I like. That's what I like. Now, wide receiver, we are sitting with A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Running back, we have Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Rashad White, Antonio Gibson, Elijah Mitchell. Tight end, we have Pat Freiermuth. Quarterback, we have Jared Goff. You make a strong argument that we should go ahead and here we should also take Russell Wilson, pair him up with Jerry Jeudy. And honestly, maybe we should have. But Dean coming out says, hey man, I'm new to fantasy and I'm in my 10-team league with pick 9. What should my first few picks look like? So, I mean, we just put out an overall rankings list for you, my friend, that's free on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update that list next week with a video. But I think that you can go ahead, if you're new to fantasy, definitely use that as a baseline. And then what I would do if I were you, and if it's a 10-team league in comparison to a 12-team format, you want to be pushing your running backs up your draft board just a bit, my friend. That's what I would say. Daydrum says, I'm the same way, Flock. I don't and kind of can't have a team. I have no emotional ties. I was a fantasy football fan first, then an NFL fan second. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I understand that's like, and I'm not sitting here and saying that's like the right way to do it. Probably the right thing to do is have that team that you love, right? If you're a massive Eagles fan, be a massive Eagles fan. If you're a massive Cowboys fan, be a massive Cowboys fan. I mean, I think it would be so much fun if I had a team to root for like that. But it's just, and I tried to do it with the Bucs last year when I lived in Tampa. I mean, 2 years ago when I lived in Tampa. I mean, it seems like it was more recent than that. But it's just like I got into fantasy football whenever I was like 8 or whenever the hell it was. And then got into the NFL because I was rooting for my fantasy team. Now, Ludovic says 10-team PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, a flex, and a tight end. I have Watson, Bijan, Barkley, Connor, Madison, Algier, Olave, Amari, Keenan, Judy. What are the thoughts? We have 2 running back ones. We have a wide receiver 1, a couple wide receivers. This is a great team. Whenever I look at a team like this, I try to come up with a way that we can make it better. I don't see how we can make a team like this better. I don't know who the tight end is. Like, if we could take like Alexander Madison and take him with our tight end that we currently have and pivot over and get like TJ Hawkinson, I'd love it. But yeah, great team as is, my friend. Now, Joe says, thanks as always, Mason. No, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, hanging out with us in this live stream every night. I mean, it is wild that y'all are willing to come out here every single night and hang out with me. I really, really do appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. And it looks like in that $500 draft, there are 2 spots open right now, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are wanting to get in that draft, now is the time to get into that draft with us. Now, let's move this back around. It's going to be a very weird team for us. Honestly, we probably should have taken a tight end there, such as Dalton Schultz, because y'all know I'm trying to stay away from taking 3 tight ends and 3 quarterbacks on the same team. So if we would have gone through and if we would have taken, maybe instead of Elijah Mitchell, if we would have taken Dalton Schultz, we could have got away with only drafting 2 tight ends. We'll see. Okay. The year 2 tight end Tennessee off the board, 146. Laporta's definitely in play for us, right, when we have Jared Goff here. And I kind of have to take my L because earlier this offseason, at a cheaper cost than this, I was saying Sam Laporta was a very bad draft pick. So I want to be the first person to admit, I'm sorry, I was wrong in saying that. You look at the preseason usage of Sam Laporta, and the man looks like, hell, he is a fine selection if you're going to get him at the 14-15 turn. Obviously, in like your regular fantasy football draft, you're not that excited about it. He's pretty much exclusively an underdog pick, but still, nonetheless. Now, Daniel coming out says, Puppy 3 today. We went Bijan, Olave, Allen, Christian Watson, London. How are y'all getting London in round 5? Hollywood, Goddard, White, Charbonnet, Pirine. I really like it. It would have been really nice if we had like Gabe Davis making it to us around 7. Hopefully in like round 11, round 12, we decided to go and get Dalton Kincaid to pair up with Josh Allen. But I do like it, my man. I like it. Okay, Mingo off the board. Gerald Everett goes as well. Margaret says, how's the big dog 2? Is it the big dog 2, not the bulldog 2? We're going to go ahead. We are going to take Cole Kmet and Sam Laporta. I mean, Laporta's the no-brainer pick. Or really, it's like, okay, do we want to take Cole Kmet or a wide receiver in this range? And honestly, I think Cole Kmet can actually outscore the wide receivers in this range. So we're going to go in that direction. And in this draft, we're going to take 2 more quarterbacks, and we're going to be spending the rest of our spots on wide receiver. Let me pull this up. Just interested. Is it the big dog? I thought it was the bulldog 2. Okay, no, it is the bulldog 2. I wish they had a big dog 2. I mean, the big dog was open for so much longer last year. It just felt so fast this season. Okay, so let's move this down. So round 1, we went A.J. Brown, followed up with Amon-Ra, Judy, Etienne, Godwin, Evans, Swift, Rashad White, Antonio Gibson, Pat Frymuth, Jared Goff, Elijah Mitchell, Cole Kmet, and Sam Laporta. So far, we are betting with that Detroit Lions offense by going Jared Goff, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. We're also going to be taking Baker Mayfield here to essentially have all the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the same time. But we will make it work, ladies and gentlemen. We will make it work. We have a run on running back here with Mostert, Foreman, Singletary, Zamir White all going. Generally, that's what we're wanting to see, right? When we already have 5 running backs off the board. Blake says, double snipe me on tight end on pick 10. What are your thoughts? Thanks. No, thank you, my man. Let's go ahead and let's check out pick 10. Lamb, Barkley out the gate. That's a start that I actually have a lot. I mean, I think it's a unique build, and I think you have access to a lot of upside. Lamar, Christian Watson. I mean, hell, this looks like one of my teams. Herbert there at 58. It's a very interesting pick, right? Because Herbert falls past ADP, but at the same time, you don't have any of those stacks set up just yet. But you do end up getting Quentin Johnson there, 82. Pacheco, Dillon, Dobbs, P. Ryan. I like this team. I mean, I don't really like P. Ryan, but I mean, hell, if you're going to get him 130 in comparison to where he used to go like 103, 130 is a completely fair price point for him. Gallup to pair up with Lamb. I like that team a lot. Everett to pair up with Herbert. Yeah, great team, my man. Love it. Okay, let's move this down. Hodgins off the board, 148. Hodgins saw a decent amount of snaps in the preseason, unless I'm mistaken. Now, Chief says, I think the betting odds 5-1 that you become a Falcons fan. If the Falcons were to trade for Trey Lance and we'd have Trey Lance and Bijan Robinson on the same team, those odds would probably change to minus 900 or something ridiculous, because if we had Bijan Robinson and Lance together, it'd be a very easy team to root for, my friend. Very easy team to root for. Now, California coming out says Olave Wilson for Jamar Chase. We have Hill in London as well. The easy answer is no, but the thing is, if this is like an 8-team league where you only start 2 wide receivers in a flex, then sure. Say generally no, unless it's like a super shallow format. Daniel says Packers running jet sweeps with Musgrave. Oh, you'd love to see it. I actually made a video and included Luke Musgrave in it for tomorrow, my friend. And Kyle coming out says 12-team map PBR format. My keepers are Hall in the 2nd, Pollard in the 6th, Smith in the 5th. I'm looking at Hill, Cup, Bijan, Eckler with the first pick. Who do you like? Do we still want to keep Hall in the 2nd? I don't know if we can back out of that now. Happy BR, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson, my friend, especially in a keeper format. Now, Big Al says 10-team full PBR format, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, and pick 8. What wide receiver are you taking over Bijan Robinson in that range? If I take Bijan, possible double hero running back build with Barkley as well. If you go Bijan Barkley in a 10-team format, I mean, that would just be a thing of beauty in my mind. We'll talk about that in a little bit more in just 1 second, but let me go ahead and make sure we are getting some picks on the board here. We definitely need at least 1 wide receiver, right? We also need quarterbacks soon. So wide receiver, let's cue up Paris Campbell. Ooh, sorry. Cue quarterback, wide receiver. Paris Campbell, and then what else works for one of our stacks? Wish we had Pickett as an option. Who else can we? Did we just go Sam Howell and say that he's a big week with Gibson catching the ball? I guess. Tough spot to be in. I don't really like any of the options there. And let me move this over. So kind of stuck in a tough spot, right? Do we opt in another $5 draft, or do we wait to see if the $500 draft is going to fill? There are still 2 spots left in that $500 draft, so we're going to go ahead. We are going to hop in to another $5 one on Underdog. Let me show off this board just in case you were just now coming in. And we are going to be taking Baker Mayfield in the following round with another wide receiver. Now, I can't tell you exactly who that wide receiver is. We'll find out together. I'll let you know when we take him. But let's go ahead and let's get this going. We're beginning in the Puppy 3 tournament. This is the best tournament for someone new on Underdog Fantasy. Best tournament for anybody trying to prepare for their main fantasy football league this next year. It's a $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, $200,000 for first place, $100,000 for second. And we had a member of the flock win this last year. So let's go ahead and let's hop in this bad boy, ladies and gentlemen. We are in here. Hopefully we are going to be at a pick that we like. But let's see. We're pick 7, so we've had a pick at the very end. We've had a pick at the very beginning, and now we're getting a pick in the very middle, my friend. Vinny says, hey, Mason, against my better judgment, I joined a $200 16-team redraft league. Oh, my gosh, my man. Happy BR, quarterback, wide receiver, 2 running back, tight end, couple flex spots, defense, 3 bench. Who are we targeting rounds 1 through 3? I definitely want to stay flexible at the beginning of the draft, just given the fact that you really don't know in a 16-team format how your league mates are going to take quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I'm going to be willing to go ahead and try to punt tight end in this format unless you get a pretty big Kelsey value. So I think we're probably going to start off, say, running back, get a sense of how our league mates are drafting quarterback, and if we can go with an elite level quarterback round 2, could be something that we look into. And then maybe wide receiver. If it's just a 16-team league, the thing is you have to stay flexible, right? Because if a run happens and you're not going to be picking again for like another 30 picks, I mean, you can be in a really, really tough spot. Okay. So CMC goes before Jamar Chase here, which is very interesting to see. Okay, let's move this over. Bijan Robinson goes before us, so this will be a... do we want to take Kelsey? No, we're not going to do it. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Stephon Diggs. I'm probably stupid for doing so, but I don't know. I really like drafting Kelsey over the past few years, but now that Mahomes is going to be unavailable to us in round 3 and beyond, in my mind, it's a little harder to take Kelsey than it has been previously. Now, Nick coming out says, signed up for a Mother Flocker on flockfantasy.com. Long overdue. How does the team breakdown work? Mother Flocker Super Chat. So what you do is on flockfantasy.com, click the little Discord icon. That's going to link your Discord account with your Flock Fantasy account. And then if you signed up with promo code FLOCK on that Mother Flocker tier, you're going to unlock a roster submissions tab on my Discord chat. And then you send your roster there on Discord, and I'll go through and I'll record a personalized podcast for you, my friend, and get that DM'd over to you. But thank you so much, my friend, for being a member of the Flock and supporting the channel for so damn long. Now, I really do appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Okay. Now, Garrett Wilson off the board, pick 15. And that $500 Bulldog draft has 1 spot open if anybody wants to get in with us. There were 2 spots. Now we're back at 1 spot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Nick Chubb goes, so generally I was not taking Tony Pollard in the middle of round 2 previously, very similar to how we were worried about Ramondre Stevenson. I was worried about Tony Pollard seeing added in competition to his backfield. Now we don't have to be as worried about that because Dalvin and Ezekiel Elliott both signed. So I'm going to be a little bit more willing to go ahead and push him up at this point. Okay. In the other draft, we go Baker Mayfield, and we will take, who else do we want? We'll take Joshua Palmer. I don't freaking know. We definitely needed another wide receiver, but Sam says, finish my 10-team PPR league. My starters are Watson, Pollard, Jones, Chase, Olave, Hawkinson, Godwin, Allen. How did I do? White and David Montgomery on the bench. I like it. Very similar to what we just talked about with me taking Tony Pollard. I mean, I would have been a little bit more worried about it before you had Dalvin Cook as well as Ezekiel Elliott signing. But now that Pollard does look like he's locked in for that running back 1 workload, and you really don't have to worry about him splitting with any other guys. I mean, obviously, you still have Fournette. You still have Hunt out there, but he looks a lot safer. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Now, Bam Kim says, in a 10-team PPR league, quarterback, we have Dak. Running back, we have Mixon, Jones, Kamara, Gibson, Mostert, Bigsby. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Lamb, Samuel, Godwin, London, Gallup. Tight end, we have Evan Ingram. This is a good team. So I like the fact that we have the Lamb Dak stack. I like that we have Kupp there as well. It is relying a ton on these older veteran running backs, right? So with that kind of build, you're really going to be betting against father time in the historical data that we've seen with those aging RBs. If somehow those running backs that were drafted in 2017 can still hold up, I think it's going to be a great team. You're just going to be worried about those running backs and maybe seeing that fall off. Okay, Josh Allen off 28. I mean, I'd love to have Josh Allen make it back to us. I mean, DK Metcalf goes 29. I know who we want. I don't know if he makes it to us. Let's see. Jacobs goes. He was our guy. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to take Andrews. The reason I'm not taking Andrews is there's no shot Lamar makes it back around. If Lamar could make it to us in round 4, I take Mark Andrews round 3. I don't think we could get Lamar Jackson. So we're going to take Amari Cooper here. But of course, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we hit 1,500 likes in the stream, we are going to be firing up another draft after this one. And also, if you want to get in our next draft, whether that's tonight, the day after that, we are live streaming every single night these Underdog Fantasy drafts. They're best balls to no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last year on Underdog. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. Same spot where you see all the pick'em lines in the videos. My favorite pick'em lines right now are going to be DeAndre Swift for more rushing yards than Damian Harris, and also Jordan Love for fewer than 13.5 interceptions. And I also worked my butt off to get y'all 3 free pick'em lines on NFL games this year, exclusive to people who signed up with promo code FLOCK. And the first one's going to be Josh Allen for more than less than half a passing yard in week 1, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. Link in the live chat description. Now, we have Travis Etienne off the board there. 137. Etienne definitely a running back I was looking for on the way back around. Like I said, there's no way that Lamar was going to make it to us at pick 42, right? So there's not really a reason for us to take Andrews there in the 3rd, at least in my mind. Now, Wom says, Najee and Watson for Hurts and McKinnon. What are your thoughts? McKinnon's 0, right? So it's Najee Harris and Deshaun Watson for Jalen Hurts. Shallow format, give me Jalen Hurts. DJ Moore goes 41. I guess we're going to take Keenan Allen here just so we have access to a unique build. Full transparency, not a super big fan of Keenan Allen, at least at where his price was in round 3. If he falls in the middle of round 4, I will be okay with Keenan Allen here. But Sean says 12-team standard, a PPR format, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. At pick 4, are you taking Hill or Kupp here, barring none of Chase, CMC, Jefferson fall to us? Personally, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to take Tyreek Hill over Cooper Kupp. I think in this style format, you actually have Travis Kelce in play for you as well if you wanted to go in that direction. But yeah, specifically, if we were looking at wide receiver, I am going Tyreek over Kupp. He's going to be in a better offense. Kupp's also pushing 30. I understand Tyreek Hill's almost there as well, but it is what it is. And let me see if we have... Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the $500 draft is filled. Let's go ahead and let's get this going. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is when it gets nerve-wracking here. Active drafts, let's go. Where are we picking out? Okay, we're going to be at the end of round 1, ladies and gentlemen. We have some members of the flock out here ready to take our money. We got Mark Award in here with us at pick 3. We got Nolan OMG Fantasy in here at 1. We got Versaire out here at pick 6. Let me know if anybody else is coming out here and ready to take this fish's money. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this going. Okay. Let me change this buy-in mark as well. $500 buy-in draft, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not dropped a like on this live stream yet, go down there, drop a like. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your friends, tell your siblings that they got to come out here and they got to root for us in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to make this bad boy work. Let's get it going. Now, Jefferson Chase out the gate. I mean, I was really hoping that we were going to get Justin Jefferson making it to us at pick 11. Oh, sad to see it's not happening. Sad to see it's not happening. Now, Samir says 18 PBR, 3 flex league. We have Field, CMC, Stevenson, Lamb, Waddle, Lave, Mixon, Ingram. The big bench is Pickens, Madison, Montgomery, and Deshaun Watson. What do you think? I like it. I mean, it's a very much an awkward spot in an 8-team format, of course, where all teams are going to look good. In an 8-team league, I'd love to get an elite level quarterback if we could take like an elite level tight end. If we could go like Alexander Madison and Evan Ingram, or David Montgomery, Evan Ingram, get the TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews, I would really like that, my friend. But sadly, we are not going to get Bijan Robinson, but we will take Travis Kelce here at pick 11, ladies and gentlemen. We will go ahead and we will take Kelce. I've not drafted a ton of Travis Kelce this year. 34 years old this season. I do think that you have to be a little bit worried, and it's a lot harder to stack him with Patrick Mahomes now than it previously was. But getting him about 5 picks past ADP, we will go ahead and we will just take the value here with where it falls, right? Let's get it. Let's get it. Volts takes A.J. Brown, then Nick Chubb. Let's make sure Amon-Ra St. Brown's okay. St. Brown suffered a lower leg injury earlier practice, blah, 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 leaving the practice field, but the team has yet to provide an update. Let's go. Let's go. We haven't taken a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown either, but if you look at how ADPs line up, the amount of teams that are going to have Kelce and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the same roster, super slim in this entire tournament. We are going to be one of the only teams that has this combo in this tournament. So let's pull the trigger. Let's have the unique build, and we'll see if it works. Now, Mitch says, 5th pick in a 12-team Happy BR redraft league. We have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes. We have Kupp, Tyreek, Kelce, Bijan. At that spot, given Jefferson, Chase, CMC, and Eckler go before me. 12-team Happy BR can start up to 4 wide receivers. I hate to give you this answer because it is the laziest answer. It's the least helpful answer possible, but it's really up to you. That's going to be the tier, guys. I think it depends on how you expect your league mates to draft wide receivers, etc. I think it's up to you, my friend. Now, Professor coming out with a donation. Thank you, my friend. Now, Allen goes at 18 to stack with Stephon Diggs. I know some people probably wanted us to go ahead and take Patrick Mahomes there at 14 to stack with Travis Kelce. It is what it is. Not going that early. Not going that early. ER7 says, don't forget your other drafts. You know I'm in that other draft on my phone right now, my friend. Don't you worry. Now, Derrick Henry goes at 19. 2 versus air pairing up Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry in round 1 and round 2. I wonder if you would have passed on Bijan, my man, if I would have got him at pick 11. But I already took Bijan Robinson in a really high-stakes drafts on Underdog this year. I don't think I've taken Kelce in a high-stakes draft yet. Maybe I did. I don't know. Duke says, imagine if Mahomes falls to you in the 3rd. If Mahomes would have fallen to me in the 3rd, I mean, I would have passed. I don't know. I would have won this tournament. I'll tell you that. I would have turned $500 into $100,000 in this tournament. And let me flex on y'all again, just in case you didn't know. I won the Bulldog tournament last year on Underdog, as well as the Big Dog tournament. Last year, the first place prize was only $20,000. So hopefully we're able to repeat this season. And hopefully we're able to have, just a higher prize coming over in our direction, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see. We'll see. Now, Ridley off the board, 27. Andrews goes 28. Yeah, I'm not going to be one of these teams looking to pair up Kelce and Andrews. I'm not doing that at all. So, happy to see Andrews go off the board here. Professor says, Best Ball Mania draft on Underdog, first 5 picks. CMC, Mahomes, Henry, London, as well as Deontay Johnson. What are your thoughts? I like it. There are teams that were able to get Derrick Henry in round 3 like a month, 2 months ago on Underdog, but now that's very rarely ever happening. So the amount of like round 2 Patrick Mahomes, round 3 Derrick Henry teams there are probably going to be slim to none. I'm not a big Deontay Johnson round 5 guy though. Now, DK Metcalf goes 30. Ramondre Stevenson off the board. Keep in mind here at the 3-4 turn, it is going to be skewed a bit just given the fact that you do have updated news with these guys like Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, of course. Gibbs goes 33. I have a plan A and a plan B, ladies and gentlemen. Jason asking what prevents collusion in underdog tournaments. Just like anything, right? I mean, underdog is a bunch of things to make sure gameplay is fair in their tournaments. A bunch of different measures. And if there's anything, underdog just straight up bans anybody trying to mess with things. We're going to go Amari Cooper here, pick 35. JC says, was drafting with you on my phone at the gym yesterday. You were the 103. I was the 105. Weird team at pick 4. The whole time I was like, notice me simple. My man, happy to get into a draft with you. Thank you so much for coming out and letting us know that happened. Now, Keenan Allen goes, there's someone that I have my eyes zeroed in on. Let's see if we get him, ladies and gentlemen. If we do this $500 draft, it's going to be freaking nuts. Let's see what this team does. Lamar Jackson, round 4. Now, I was looking at this. My most invested into player this year in underdog drafts is Lamar Jackson. Not the highest percentage drafts that I've taken him in, but the most dollar amount that I've spent on a player has been Lamar Jackson. I take Lamar Jackson round 4, legitimately nonstop. 2019, he had the best quarterback season of all time in fantasy football. Of all time. He's been injured over the past few seasons, but now he has Flowers, he has Odell, he has Bateman, he has a healthy Andrews. He is the best receiving core he's ever played with. I am betting on the elite level ceiling of Lamar Jackson. I'm going to continue to take Lamar Jackson at this price point. The reason I went Amari Cooper ahead of Lamar Jackson there at pick 35 is just trying to figure out who would be more likely to make it back around to us, right? I mean, Lamar was my plan A. Amari was my plan B, but I was like, okay, well, I think we can try to get greedy and try to get both these guys. It ended up working out that way, and I am pumped, ladies and gentlemen. And you better believe your back-to-back champion now in the Bulldog tournament on Underdog Fantasy is your boy. As long as I don't mess this team up, right? I mean, it's definitely a possibility that I mess this team up here, but we will see, ladies and gentlemen. We will see. And of course, if you want to get into one of these drafts with us on Underdog, do not recommend you getting into a $500 draft, but I do highly recommend you getting in one of those $5 Puppy 3 tournaments. Going to be the best place for you to prepare for your main fantasy football draft this next season. Best ball, no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams to $150,000 on Underdog last season. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. Link in the live chat, link in the description. And I work my butt off to get y'all free pick'em lines as well, exclusively for people who use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. So we're going to have a free pick'em line of Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard for week 1 this year. Now, Trone says, any auction draft strategy advice, 0 hero running back. So it's going to really depend on so many different variables in your league. I actually made a in-depth video for everybody on flockfantasy.com diving into auction draft strategy. Now, typically, if you expand your starting lineups, you want to be going with a little bit more of a balanced approach. If you are playing in a shallow auction draft, though, you want to go ahead and you just want to go studs and duds. You want to try to get CMC, you want to try to get Kelsey, and you don't care if the rest of your lineup's full of bums. So really going to be dependent on your exact format, my friend. But I'm just freaking pumped, ladies and gentlemen. I am pumped right now. Okay. Herbert goes 51. What's also funny is we take Lamar at 38, and then Fields, Burrow go immediately after. Okay, Herbert goes 51. Kirk off 55. Let's swing this back around, ladies and gentlemen. Kenneth Walker goes. I mean, I would have been so freaking pumped to get Kenneth Walker. I'd have been so excited to get Walker. Ronnie Only has one wide receiver. They go JSN here, 57. I'm going to need your help, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to need your help. Spam the chat. Who do you want me taking at 59? I'm giving it to y'all. Spam the chat. I mean, we reacted to the team I won 100,000 with on Underdog last year, and you spamming the chat's what won me. I mean, we needed your help. Godwin, Lockett, Madison. Looks like, oh my gosh, what the hell? I don't know. It looked like it was literally split any way possible. We will see what happens on the way back around. A lot of y'all were also saying Godwin, Lockett. We'll see if one of those guys makes it to us. Godwin goes 60. Hollywood goes. Okay, so everybody's saying Lockett. We will go ahead and we will take Tyler Lockett at 62 for y'all. This is stressful, ladies and gentlemen. This is stressful. Now, obviously, we're elite at quarterback and tight end. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to just be okay to good at running back and wide receiver. If we can be okay to good at RB and receiver, I'm going to be a happy man. But we'll see. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Now, OMG's gone Jefferson, Taylor, Hurts, Najee, McLaurin out the gate. Very surprising to see Najee Harris fall to pick 48. You have to be excited about that value. Has there been any other pretty big value picks in this draft? I mean, I love Kenneth Walker, 56, but I mean, Kenneth Walker does fall there regularly. It's like not too big of a surprise to see that. Outside of that, I'd say the big value in this draft so far has been Najee Harris, pick 48. Let's get this going. Gabe Davis goes 66 to the Josh Allen team so they can double stack Diggs, Josh Allen, and Gabe Davis. Lawrence goes 68. I mean, we're completely fine seeing Lawrence go. If he would have fallen to us 83, I would have considered him. But we don't need it, right? We don't need it. Okay, Kittle all the way down to pick 70. Kittle going after Jahan Dotson in this draft. I mean, I definitely prefer Kittle, but that's just me. I definitely prefer Kittle. Mikey says Kelsey at 11 was all. Yeah, I guess Kelsey at 11 was a pretty big value as well. Very rarely you're going to see Kelsey make it to us at pick 11. I was trying to ignore the picks that we made with our team when we were talking about good values. Darren Waller goes 71. You're seeing these guys go closer and closer in every draft. Okay. Michael Pittman goes 73. I have a lot of round 6 Michael Pittman, so it's not great seeing him to consistently fall to round 7. Okay. Jay Swaggy says, had pick 6 in a puppy tonight. Started with Cup. How are y'all getting this start? That's a better start than what I have. How are y'all getting the Cup Adams start, ladies and gentlemen, on Underdog? I have not had it one single time. And like, it seems like every single night, someone on the live streams coming out and flexing on us that they were able to take Cup round 1, Devontae Adams round 2. Just absurd, my man. Addison 77. All right, we are 5 picks away here. I know most people are going to look at Zay Flowers to pair up with Lamar Jackson. Racer takes Kyle Pitts. I would have taken Kyle Pitts, honestly, if he would have made it to us at 83. People would have screamed at me. People would have hated it, but I would have gone with Kyle Pitts if he would have made it that far. Cooks off the board 79. Pretty good for us, to be honest. Watson goes 80. Swift 81. So this team has 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers. But this team's a wild card as well. I mean, they're going out there and they're doing whatever the hell they want. They go Dalvin Cook at 82. So we're going to take David Montgomery. I mean, we already took Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we've already made a bet that this Detroit Lions offense is better than people expect this next season. We're only sitting with Alexander Madison at RB. So we definitely need another running back if we can get him. Okay. Green says, just got back from Colts Bears practice. Khalil Herbert's looking good. Interesting, my man. Interesting. James Conner goes 84. I know every single person and their mom's going to be screaming at us to take Zay Flowers. I'm just fine not stacking Lamar given the rushing upside. Can everybody spam the chat? Who do you want? You only have these top 4 options. Who do you want between Zay, James Cook, Rachaad White, Alvin Kamara? James goes. I'm assuming we go Zay to stack with Lamar. Flowers, 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 Zay, Cook, White, Cook, Zay. I just like the running backs in this range more. I'll listen to y'all. I'll go ahead and we will take Zay Flowers. It is what it is. He falls 4 picks past ADP. We have the stack. Generally, I like taking running backs in this range. Generally, I'm not too pumped to go through and take the wide receivers. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Let's move this down. Now let me update y'all. Tight end, we have Travis Kelce. Quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson stacked with Zay Flowers. Wide receiver, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Zay Flowers. Running back, we have Alexander Madison, David Montgomery. And Fried Bologna Sandwich says Zay Flowers is 5'9", Mason. Well, I know this is what he's listed at, which is really strange because I actually did the in-depth scouting for y'all where I went to the NFL draft red carpet this past year and I was out there interviewing all these guys. And funny enough, I got a chance to interview Zay Flowers and he was the same height that I was. And I'm 6'5". So Zay Flowers is actually not 5. I don't know what they did to measure him. It must have been a busted tape measure or something. But yeah, no, Zay Flowers is actually the same height as me, ladies and gentlemen. He's 6'5". Okay, Rachaad White makes it down to pick 90. Alvin Kamara goes to 91. And we had a lot of people wanting us to take Kamara as well. Now, Jay Swaggy says, sent you my full roster on Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, my friend. I don't even know if I can find that. I'll try to log into Twitter on my phone if I can. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to get that, my friend. I'm really sorry. Vadim says, based on your pick, this pick, my friend? Pick of me being 6'5" next to Bijan Robinson? That one you refer to? Okay. Tua goes off the board 93. Yeah, Bijan too tall for running back. What's actually crazy about this is as you can tell, Bijan Robinson's 6'6". I'm like 6'5", 250, 260, shredded the hell up. So Bijan Robinson looks like he's 6'6", 270. Bijan Robinson's a freaking monster, ladies and gentlemen. Odell Beckham Jr. off the board 94. I have noticed now a couple drafts here. Odell going a little bit earlier than he was earlier this week. I mean, but Mark Ward also a big Odell guy. I think Mark Ward has a ton of Odell Beckham Jr. as well. OMG takes Anthony Richardson, Cortland Sutton here at the turn. Okay. Let's put this over. And that other draft for our second quarterback. We're going to go ahead and take Kyler Murray. Now, Gibson off the board 98. Smooth this over. We're in a spot where clearly we want some running back help, right? I mean, we're only sitting with Alexander Madison, David Montgomery so far through the first 8 rounds. A.J. Dillon goes 99, so it's not going to help us getting some running back depth added in here. Draft bot on the clock. They go through. It looks like they have a pretty standard draft so far. They go Khalil Herbert, pick 100. Well, that sucks. That takes another running back away from us. Yeah, man, I saw everybody in the chat screaming at us to get Khalil Herbert. Yes, I know. R.I.P., my man. R.I.P. Zach Charbonnet goes. So it looks like we're pivoting over to wide receiver, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stretch out. You're ready for a wide receiver here, 107. And what's the most up-to-date report with Treylon Burks? Can I possibly take Treylon Burks if he makes it to us at 107? Ladies and gentlemen, please help me out here. What is the most up-to-date report regarding Treylon Burks? We're going to need it. Okay, everybody's spamming the chat, just false things. Kincaid goes 105. Suffered an LCL sprain during practice today, source said after the MRI. This is good news as Burks should only miss a few weeks. A scare, but a solid result considering. It's supposed to be 2 to 6 weeks. Now, we aren't going to take him here. We are going to take Rashad Bateman. Bateman seems like the simple pick whenever we have Lamar Jackson, right? Now, the question is, do we take him on the way back around? Because if he's only going to miss 2 to 6 weeks, then at that point, he is in play for us as a possibility to come back week 1. Worst case scenario, he misses 2 to 3 weeks of the season. Daniel Jones goes 108. Gosh, dang, ladies and gentlemen, this is a nerve-wracking pick here. Nerve-wracking pick. Now, clearly, you can tell I'm scared. Clearly, this is not something we're pumped about. However, given the value I think we are potentially getting here, 22 picks on Treylon Burks, who possibly, just possibly, by no means a guarantee, but it's in the range of outcomes, is back before the season starts. And say worst case scenario, he misses 6 weeks. And from that point today, he misses the first 2 weeks of the season and starts off a little bit slow. But Jamison Williams going before him, and Jamison Williams is guaranteed to miss 6 weeks this year, and Jamison Williams is also injured. So we will go ahead and we will pull the trigger on Treylon Burks for the reason of upside, upside, upside. This is a $500 buy-in, which is obviously a lot, but it's a $100,000 first place prize. We are trying to go out there and have that highest ceiling possible. We are trying, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what we need with this team is something I don't need very often, but in this instance, we need it bad. We need running backs falling. Running back, running back, running back from here on out. So we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But also, this is a smaller field. We could potentially, and I'm just saying potentially, get away with drafting 7 RBs here, especially when we have Kelsey and Lamar. So we will figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. We will figure it out. Brian Robinson makes it down to 117. Love the Brian Robinson selection. If I wouldn't have taken Treylon Burks, I would have gone Brian Robinson. And what's crazy here is now Kadarius Toney makes it back at 118. Y'all got to give me props for calling Kadarius Toney the worst pick in fantasy when he was going before Mike Evans, right? Y'all got to give me some props on that. I will say Kadarius Toney, 118, great value. I'm all about that Kadarius Toney value. Like Mark Ward, great pick. I would have done it as well. Lasagna Lover says, Khalil Herbert is the new Josh Jacobs. The all-knowing Garfield told me this offseason. Well, my man, I would like to be in agreement with you. I drafted a lot of Khalil Herbert when he was RB40. Now, to be fair, Josh Jacobs had 3 straight seasons of a low-end RB1, high-end RB2 finish. Khalil Herbert's never been a top 24 running back in fantasy. So possibly he breaks out to be a top 24 running back in fantasy, but he is not going to be this year's Josh Jacobs. This year's Josh Jacobs doesn't exist. If it does, it's ETN. Okay. So let's move this over and see what we get, ladies and gentlemen. See what we get. This may be a 2-7-7-2 build. Mark Ward, my man, do you have to be in this draft with us? He takes Geno Smith here. He doesn't have a Seattle Seahawks stack. We were hoping Geno was making it back around to us to pair up with Tyler Lockett. It is what it is. We still have Goff to potentially pair up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and I guess David Montgomery, even though you'd rather have Gibbs there for the stack, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Dobbs goes 124. Great for us. We're wanting to see wide receivers get drafted, right? We're wanting to see wide receivers go off this board. Hell yes. Hell yes. Hell yes. It's perfect for us. Zach Bolt says, quick question, my man. This is my first year on Underdog. Can you view how your teams are doing throughout the year? Keep tabs if you must. Yeah, 100%. You can go through and you can look at every single team individually. You can even nickname your teams. That way it's easier for you to keep track of them throughout the course of the entire season. But yeah, you can go ahead and you can track your teams throughout the year, my man. Okay. Samaje Perine goes 128. The year 2 tight end Tennessee off the board. So we are getting a running back here, ladies and gentlemen. Hell yes. Jimmy says, can we see Bijan again? He looked very. We'll go and put him out. We'll pull him out. Pull him out. There you go, my man. Now, we're going to take Jamal Williams, right? This team needs running back points. We know we at least have him through the first 3 weeks of the season with Miller banged up and with Alvin Kamara suspended. So we're going to take Jamal. Now, the team after us does not have Jamison Williams, does not have Jahmyr Gibbs, so we probably don't have to worry about them taking Jared Goff. So the question is, do we take Goff there at 134 to pair up with Amon-Ra St. Brown, or do we possibly go with another running back? Let's see. This team goes Tank Bigsby 132, so we're going to be looking at Goff here. If Bigsby made it back around to us, it would have been a little bit more difficult considering how bad we need RB. But I'm assuming this team behind us is not going to go Jared Goff. I'm assuming that they are going to be going with the wide receiver. They only have 4 of them, or maybe a tight end. And we are going to get Goff at 134. Now, if they were to go with Jared Goff, then we will pivot over to Jaylen Warren. They go Rashee Rice, so we are going to take Jared Goff here to pair up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. We also have David Montgomery as well. This is probably going to be a team where we draft 7 running backs, though, to be honest with you. Probably drafting 7 RBs. And real quick, let me run, take a piss. I'll be back in 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, I just heard a rumor out there. Have y'all heard this before? Apparently, these drafts on Underdog, we're doing every single night on the live stream. And apparently, you can draft with us every single night on this stream. And if you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100, plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. I also heard the rumor is that this guy Mason worked his butt off to also get y'all free pick'em lines during this season for only people who use promo code FLOCK, starting off with Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard week 1. I don't know if that rumor is true or not, but you can find the link in the live chat. You can find it in the description. You can find it in the comment section to find out for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, sign up for Underdog, code FLOCK. Help us out. Nothing supports this channel more and us live streaming every day. Now, nothing would make me happier than getting a running back on the way back around, right? Nothing would. Yes, lasagna lover knows how it is. Underdog over hand washing. Come on. Tell me to wash my hands as if I'm not a grown-ass man. Are we in kindergarten here? I just want pee, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. What are we talking about? Gainwell goes 148. Gainwell is going to be in play for us here if he made it to us. Okay. Brian says, I live in not Arizona. Underdog's available in these states here, my friend. Underdog is available in pretty much every state. States that don't have Underdog: Washington, Nevada, Louisiana, Michigan, pretty much the main ones. And then also available everywhere in Canada outside of Ontario, my friend. But Derek Carr goes, yeah, so we're not looking at quarterback here where we have Lamar and Goff, right? So, I mean, good for us to see Carr off the board. Marker Word, did you get Zeke at 142? Dear God, my man. Marker Word is just crushing us in this draft. Just crushing us in this. This team here only has 3 wide receivers. You assume that they have to go with the wide receiver here. Yeah, they go Hyatt. Okay, what are you doing, Beard? Goes Komet. Spam the chat. What do you want us to do with this pick? Everybody spam the chat. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you want. First message I see is Mostert. I see everybody saying Mostert essentially now. Was someone that I was definitely avoiding before Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott signed. But now that they are signed, I am fine taking him at cost in Underdog drafts. In your regular redraft leagues, still no interest in him because, hell, the ceiling is going to be severely capped. But in an Underdog draft where we are in desperate need for another running back, I think we're fine with it. Okay. Kyler Murray off the board. Great for us. Versailles says, well, not 100% happy with my 6th spot, the dreaded middle, but I didn't bungle it too badly, did I? Let's check out Versailles right after we make this. I'm stressed as hell, my man. If we were to go Jonathan Mingo, it's our last wide receiver pick. Spam the chat. Who do y'all want? Dulcich, Mingo, or Singletary? Seeing most people vote for Singletary at this point. Now I'm seeing some Mingo. Nobody's saying Dulcich. Okay. Looks like most people are saying Singletary. Let's go ahead and let's take Devin Singletary here, 158. Devin Singletary, my man, please, for the love of God, do something. Anything. Anything that is. Anything. Now, going over, checking out Versailles' team at 6. Bijan Henry out the gate. Definitely a bold start through the first 2. Metcalf, Etienne. The Deontay Johnson, 54. I honestly probably pivot to Christian Kirk if I took Travis Etienne, but that's just me. Now, Mike Evans, 67. Definitely really like the Mike Evans pick, especially that you need a wide receiver and you have the Russell Gage injury. Kyle Pitts, 78. Really like Kyle Pitts selection. I would have actually taken him if he would have made it to us. Alvin Kamara, 91. Great pick. Everybody wanted us to take him. Michael Thomas at a value to pair up with Kamara. Cousins there. Do you get any Cousins stack? Not necessarily. I don't know if I love the Cousins pick. Myers, MVS, Derek Carr for the double stack with the Saints I like. Adam Thielen. Yeah, really the only selection I don't love is that Kirk Cousins one. I'd possibly go Brian Robinson instead, but yeah, I do like the team, my friend. Let's move this down. Greg Dulcich still falling. How far does he fall in this draft? How far can he potentially fall? What do you want? Do you want to come up here? All right. The dog's wanting to come on the show. Let me get her up. Come here. I know. You're a good girl. We'll get her up here. Everybody can say hi. Come here. You want to tell everybody hi? You want to tell everybody hi? I know. We'll go on a walk in a second. You got to let me finish, though. Tell everybody hi. Say, hey, everybody, use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure Mason can get me some bones and biscuits. Did you tell him? Doing a good job? All right, there you go, baby girl. We'll go on a walk after this. You're a good girl. You can go under there. Yeah, this dog is under my desk 24/7. But let's get this back on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, that is a great Pyrenees. She has a haircut, so a lot of people don't know if she's a great Pyrenees or not, but I keep her, it's 100 degrees every single day in Texas, so try to keep her hair a little bit shorter for her. Okay, so let's move this over. Jerome Ford goes 176. I have my eyes on a few different names here. The team after us, Volts, can't go with another running back. They have 6 RBs. Okay, Curtis Samuel off 177. I've not taken Taysom Hill in a lot of these drafts. All right. Do we just go Taysom, get our second tight end, and call it a day? I kind of prefer Dawson Knox. We're going to get Taysom. I see everybody in the chat saying Hunt, but I have drafted 0 Taysom Hill. He falls 13 picks past ADP. We have Kelsey, so really the only way that any of these tight ends make a difference is that they have some massive spike. And Taysom is the guy that has the possibility to have a massive spike. This team after us has 6 RBs, so they can't take another running back, so we're guaranteed to get Kareem Hunt on the way back around. So yeah, we'll go Taysom as our second tight end, and we'll get Kareem Hunt here, 182. We're not going Dawson Knox, ladies and gentlemen. I took Travis Kelce. I'm not going 3 tight ends. Our running backs right now are Alexander Madison, David Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Raheem Mostert, Devin Singletary. We need a running back. D. says, why stack players from the same team? It raises your overall ceiling, my friend. So in general, like every time you make a pick in fantasy football, you make a bet, right? So if I make a selection of Amon-Ra St. Brown, I bet that the Detroit Lions offense is going to be better than people expect this next year, at least their passing offense. So might as well double down on that bet by taking Jared Goff as well. It's going to lower your floor, but it's going to raise your ceiling. And that's what we're trying to do in fantasy football, where you're not trying to get 6th place. I'm either trying to get 1st place or last place. So that's what we're trying to do here, my friend. But yeah, now we're going to get Kareem Hunt at 182. So tight end, we have Kelce and Taysom. Wide receiver, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Treylon Burks. Running back, this is the ugly spot, ladies and gentlemen, and not too excited about this. We have Alexander Madison, David Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Raheem Mostert, Devin Singletary, Kareem Hunt. Quarterback, we have Lamar double stacked with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. And we have Jared Goff paired up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and also David Montgomery. But in reality, I don't think like having David Montgomery and Jared Goff on the same team is some great thing, right? So let's go ahead and let's show this off. And real quick, if y'all have not done so already, can y'all make sure you go down there, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this live stream. Nobody else is streaming every single freaking day like we are. And not miss it a day anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Scott says, Hunt to Vikings would be interesting for you. I mean, yeah. The issue with taking Hunt here, right, is when we take Alexander Madison, we essentially make a bet that, I mean, the Minnesota Vikings don't sign another running back. When we take Raheem Mostert, we make a bet that the Miami Dolphins don't sign another running back. When you draft Kareem Hunt, you need him to go to a team. So, I mean, it does put you in a weird spot. Mark says crap. Why are you saying crap, my man? Okay, Shaheed off the board, 192. And here's what I'm going to do for everybody with this live stream. So make sure you stay till the end. We only have a couple more minutes left. I'm going to stick around and answer every single person's question in the comment section for the next like 20 minutes right after we end this. So yeah, as soon as we end this live stream after our next 2 picks, make sure you go to the comment section and ask me literally anything you want and I'll answer it. But Seattle Sauce coming out with the donation. Thank you. Says late start and just jumping back in. My man Mason helped me tremendously last year. Looking forward to this year. Thank you so much, my man, for joining us for another season. Super happy to have you. Thank you, my man. Mark Ward says he pick it. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Let's look at this. So quarterback, you had Herbert. You had Geno. I mean, going Pickett's not the end of the world here, considering the fact it's a smaller field tournament. Did he have any Steelers? No. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's like, are you really going to lose by taking Kenny Pickett instead of Paris Campbell or Shaheed? You know? I doubt it. Okay. Now, Project Lunchable says Deion Jackson or Khalil Herbert last keeper. Oh, I'm definitely going to go Khalil Herbert, my friend. Definitely. Okay, now let's move this over. Bryce Young still available. I don't want to say too much until we're on the clock, but it's going to be a very rare team, a very rare build. Okay. What is this team doing? They go Bryce Young, good for us. Renfro off 200. Downs 201. I don't think we have too many reasons to go like a particular wide receiver with this pick, right? I mean, we can kind of go with anybody. We'll just take Shakir. He's in a great offense. He falls like 9 picks past ADP. This team probably goes tight end. They're just sitting with David Njoku. I mean, they could also go with the quarterback. I mean, they just have Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray. Weird team. Yeah, they should have just only taken 5 RBs. There's no reason for them to take Miller there. They go Hunter Henry and Mac Jones. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Leonard Fournette. It's going to be a very rare team where we actually take 7 RBs, ladies and gentlemen. I would not do this if it was a puppy tournament. I would not do this if it was a Best Ball Mania tournament. But with this being a high-stakes, smaller field tournament, I think you can get away with taking the extra running back, especially when we wait as long as we did here. But that's it for this live stream. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out with us. I really hope we are able to help you out here in some way. I really hope you're able to get something from this. And as always, if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this live stream, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to get in our next draft, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you a 100% deposit match up to $200, plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. I'm going to be hanging out in the comment section of this video for the next 30 or so minutes, answering every single question that y'all have. So as soon as this ends, go to the comment section, leave me whatever question, and I'll answer it for you. But thank you so much. Really appreciate y'all, and really hope I get to draft with you tomorrow night.